Greetings and welcome. We'll be booting up real quick here. Stand by. Mensky, what's going on? All right. Where is my good old-fashioned popping over to the bloop pod? No, that's the wrong scene. Live scene. One of these scenes should be good enough. Huh. You know what? We'll roll with this scene then. The only scene that I got together here. That'll work out fine. That's gonna have to do. Let me unmute myself in the good old-fashioned Discord.
And you'll start to care.
Start caring. How you doing?
Yeah, no, I don't go to any of those illegitimate sites on this computer, so they can track whatever they like. It's pretty much...
No, it has nothing to do with it. Go into illegitimate sites. It's
oh, God.
He's got to have a computer for that.
What did I walk into?
It's the amount of stuff that they track is literally just
This
scary.
is Google Chrome Weekly.
We're talking about Google Chrome. Gotcha. I've been slowly transitioning over to Firefox. Especially...
I quickly transitioned over to Firefox, but I use... Safari is my main browser, but on Windows I use Firefox.
I'm trying to get over to Firefox. There's some stuff for compatibility reasons that has me stuck over on Chrome for some certain things still, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Anyway,
I guess
yeah,
we want to get this show started.
We do want to get this show started. I'm pretty excited to get this show started. Actually,
all right, I'll stop recording the pre-show then.
Cool. And let me see here. We got everyone on the docket. We got Hana. DX, should I put you in the docket? Are you sticking around?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a short.
Okay. I'll get you in there.
Yeah.
1 second.
DX is pulling the opposite of what I used to, staying for the first little bit instead of showing up for the end of the show.
You're right. All right, so let me just...
The weird thing is, the RRman's been in here longer than me.
Yep.
He's usually asleep by now, the poor bugger.
What? Sorry, what?
Actually, I saw Sorensen hit 104 strength earlier.
Oh, yeah, he sent me a snapshot of that.
Only 104, huh? Hmm.
You might better catch him. You might better catch him though. He's going away for a week.
He said that, yes.
Oh, he told you already?
yeah. We were having a chat before. Because I'm only doing it via my Dark Beasts and my Abbey Demons and such because I want the money too. He was telling me he's down at the Abyss cannoning and doing all that. I mean, you're spending a fortune on that one, on something you can actually make money on. You're crazy.
I had Prestige 4 of Abbey Demons yesterday.
Damn. Wow. You're a psycho.
I like killing those.
You're a psycho.
I'll probably say... yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do Abbey? I mean, well, I guess the problem is, like, well, to do Abbey Demons well, it's a lot harder than finding an Abyss spot. So I guess maybe that's why you do it in the Abyss. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's...
There is a wonderful spot in level, like, 18 Wilderness that has, like, 20 Abbey Demons at it. Why does nobody use it?
People do. It's best X. One of
the wildy.
Yeah, it's the best XP in game and GP probably for Abbey Demons. It's like 20 of them. You can aggro potion, you'd be getting like 1,000,000 plus XP per hour with.
That's where David kills them.
Good.
Yeah, and then you'd be dying, four times an hour too.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
There's not that many PKs.
Although actually, where it is, it's actually below the level 30. So
yeah,
you
can just
have your fast teleport and just click away quickly.
What's the tele block?
The key is...
Yeah, but you can keep us if you got because you'll generally have food, so you just keep spamming.
The key is...
The biggest reason I don't use the wilderness is because of the wildiness.
I like the wilderness.
The biggest reason I don't use it is because of skull tricking. Like, I would be in there way more often. Like, but I to do Abbey Demons well, you got to risk like 150. I mean, unless you're doing mage. With mage, it would be you wouldn't have to risk as much. But if I want to take in my scythe, I'm risking 150 mil to get skull tricked by somebody. Like
Pocket
fuck
change.
that.
All right. Let me quickly just get into the show so we can actually start talking about our weeks and what's been going on, and then we can get into the actual show, because everything we just said is going to get sliced off for podcast listeners, so I want to make sure this gets in the show.
Especially all the talk about Google Chrome.
Yeah, that's
going to be in the pre-show.
Yeah, that's pre-show. Let's see here. I am going to play the intro music, run the intro, and then we can actually talk about our week and all that fun stuff. So let me just get my show notes up here and the music up here. Make sure it's 35% to start. We'll see how that goes. All right. Everyone ready?
Ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1... You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for 7/6/2018. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Hana, Pyrnassius, Dxthelb, and the RRman. And on today's show, avatar changes. Month ahead for the July. TLDW, month ahead July. RunePass, Ocean's Bounty. RunePass, is it worth it? RS Mobile, May 2018 playtest results and what's next. Mod Osborne is not on your side. Osbornes Comments. And a talented scammer. Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Welcome back. For your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly, I'm Magebit, and I really hate it when people are opening links as I'm trying to read the intro.
I saw that happening. I was waiting till the end of it, and I saw someone popping on there going, "Mage is going to be yelling in a minute."
I opened up all my
that.
links before I even went live.
That was the RRman. I'm going to call him.
Did you fix that?
But
They run it out, RRman.
it's all
I was
good.
going as
What is
fast as I
sheep
could to beat you.
fiddlers? I tell you what.
Just
Could you
wait
call
until
me a sheep
after.
fiddler?
Yeah, he's New Zealander. Of course, he's a sheep fiddler.
Anyway.
New Zealanders are.
Welcome,
Convicts.
welcome to your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Magebit here. I'm still at Abbey Demons. I'm having a good old time. What has been going on? I mean, I am closing in on 120 attack and strength. I should be 120 strength probably tomorrow, maybe today. I got 15 hours left if I continue training it between the two, but if I split to strength, that would obviously cut in half. I might do that just to wrap strength up today. Not sure. But that's pretty much where I'm at. Just, slowly closing in on those. How you doing, Pern?
Yeah, getting better now. I've had a bit of an issue with the back the last week or so, and it hasn't been helped with kids being on school holidays and driving my son. He volunteers for a company called Reach, which does a lot of work with sort of underprivileged kids and all that type of stuff. So he volunteers there, but it's like an hour drive away and then an hour drive back to pick him up. So that hasn't been helping, but starting to feel a little bit better this week. So yeah,
Glad to hear that you're starting to feel a little bit better. That's good. DX, how you been?
I've been super busy doing DJ work. Well, on air, presenting on a radio station.
Sweet. You've been enjoying that, I assume?
Absolutely. I'm having a ball. I'm loving it. I've already got my playlist ready for next Wednesday, so...
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you're fitting into that so nicely. Hana, how you doing?
You know, I was really excited. I was like, wow, I got my name read first on the show. And then you wait till third to actually say hi to me. I don't know.
Could have been worse. You could have been last.
That's fair. That's fair.
Save the RRman for last since he almost screwed up the intro.
No, I was surprised you didn't go by. I mean, you went by like how long people have been here. I think when you did the intros there, like you normally do. But when you read the names off, my name was first, which was surprising. I guess it's because I showed up first. Anyways, I am doing well. I have been streaming a ton. I'm actually streaming right now. I got a bunch of quests done over the past week. So if you want to hear some terrible voice acting on my end, you can check out my Twitch channel at Queen of Blaze and check out all those quests. They'll be up there in video forum so you can watch them whenever you want. But yeah, I also
did do No Evil, didn't you?
I did do No Evil.
Super,
The quest was hell on earth.
super impressive, by the way.
Speaking of your Twitch, sorry, does everyone know about your good news about your Twitch channel?
I don't think everyone does. I don't think I've talked about it on the show. I think it happened before. I don't remember if it happened before last show. But yeah, I got affiliated now. So if you want to...
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you want to give me your Twitch Prime sub or you want to drop some bits, you can do that. I've been getting a lot of support already. It's been kind of... I've been blown away by the amount of support I've gotten in like the past week and a half from everybody.
It's been a fun time.
It's been a fun time. It's been a great... Yeah, the stream has been super fun. I found out I have about 300 hours left till max, so I would love to get that done in July, but realistically, I probably won't be done till August. But yeah, so I'm relatively close to closing in on max. And I actually, I'll let you introduce this RRman, and then I need to fight with Pern about something.
Okay. And just before I forget, we were talking about, I think, last show or the show before, but the audio where I spilled water all over everything for bonus XP weekend. I found the audio. I found the audio.
Right.
So I can play it at the end of the show or on the show at some point if people want it. It's like a minute long or something. I could just
definitely put it at the end of the show. It's actually on my old computer. That was awesome.
remind me, and I will play it at the end of the show.
Speaking of audio, that reminds me that Magebit and I did record a special for RunePass this week, but unfortunately, part of the audio got lost.
Hackers from the anti-MTX community infiltrated my system and corrupted the audio.
Yes, so we recorded like an hour and a half show. I think Mage is going to try to fix it, or so it might show up on the Patreon sometime in the future, either fixed or with half the audio missing,
or with Hana responding to things that are completely unrelated to stuff that I'm saying that makes her sound extremely racist and xenophobic. Possibly.
I mean, I'm not a fan of that option. I'm not the fan of that option, but that could happen too, I suppose. But yeah, so we apologize for that. We really wanted to get a RunePass episode out this week.
It went really well too, and it's completely my fault. When I began the recording, I did not check my audio levels, and there was nothing coming in on my microphone, and I didn't notice until about 30 minutes in that OBS had switched audio sources for whatever effing reason, and that, so it's completely my fault. But I will do my best to try and recover that, because Hannah put a lot of work into that episode and had some really good data. We'll be
covering the data again on the show.
The only thing I'll say is you get a redo on the information.
That's true.
For that one part, you can.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like
I won't even say
wrong.
Yeah, you get a redo on the. I didn't even mean to call you out on that. I was like,
oh no, I was really glad you did. I don't want to be getting things wrong. Having someone there to tell me when I'm wrong is
no, you handled it really well. Like if it was me, I would have just like, could we stop the show and do this over? And you kept going. You were able to keep it on track. So kudos to you there. Anyway, RRman, you're also here. What's up?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, cheers. I'm just having my normal life, as Magebit would put.
It's nice of you to join us so early in the morning. How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm surprisingly awake at the moment. I've been sleeping horrible all week. No back issues, but yeah, just being an old man who can't sleep.
I tossed and turned all night last night, and it's completely my fault because I drank coffee for the first time in 6 years yesterday, and I did not sleep at all. Oh my goodness! So.
That sleep only gets worse as you get older, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 30 years old and I'm already on like the heaviest sleep meds they can give me. What am I gonna do for the rest of my life? I'm scared.
Listen to the RRman.
I slept for 5 hours last night, and I was ecstatic that I slept for that long. That's where I'm at in life. Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm getting like 3 hours a night most nights, so that was like a miracle.
I feel inhuman if I don't get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep, which is why I'm like, I was very distraught when I only got like 5 hours of sleep last night. Shut up! Sorry, I have to keep my phone on.
How good would it be to have a straight 8 hours sleep in a day?
Right?
It's good,
Dream.
but I wasn't able to get it last night. That's for sure. But like I said, let's get to the show, shall we?
I have I forgot to add this up to the show, but I have an argument with Pern,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
and that is that the Menaphos quests are really fucking good, and they are not 10 minutes each. I believe
No,
it was
the last two.
the second.
One of them.
The last one is short. That is
the
fair.
third one I think was good, but they should. I still say that it is one long quest, but I didn't say they were bad quests.
You said they were
said it
really,
was
really
one
short,
quest.
from what I remember. I could be
No,
misremembering.
the last one was short. The one was sort of a 15-20 minute one.
The last
one
one
was like 7 minutes, and I mean I know a lot of people who are doing it in 4 minutes where they just held down the space bar. But
yeah, I mean, if you hold down the
add it all
space bar,
together,
then you can't. really
overall
complain.
it is.
To me,
Overall, it's just under 2 hours for all of them, and it's a great quest. I didn't say anything. It didn't have anything wrong with the quest.
it depends how quickly you read, I guess. Because I mean, I was voice acting them, which kind of adds time, but I also read slowly regardless. So I think each quest probably would have like the shortest quest probably would have been 20 minutes for me, even if I wasn't streaming, because I read super slow. But I don't know. The lore was. Maybe
Awesome.
it wasn't you. Maybe it was more the community at large. But like people talked those quests down so hard, I expected them to be terrible. And they're like some of my favorite quests in the game. Like my only disappointment is that like the Amasket storyline has still not been wrapped up. Like why can't we end that quest line already, Jagex? I would like that to happen. But beyond that, they were really good.
Yeah, no, as I said, my only issue was locking them behind what was basically a treasure hunter promo, the way they organized their reputation system with all the cosmetics, and the fact that they broke one quest up into 4 chapters. The new fixes they've done on the Menaphos are fantastic. We're actually doing the quests now. It makes sense breaking them up now into the 4 chapters, because as you complete each one, you increase your reputation. They give you a real reward for doing that. So
see, to me, I don't think it feels like one quest at all. Like I don't know. I did the whole desert series, and the whole desert series has all felt like you kind of stopped in the middle each time and like ended on a cliffhanger. Like that's how the whole desert series has always felt. So to me, it felt very much like every other desert quest out there. So maybe I have a different perspective because I did like Do No Evil and like a bunch of other ones very recently. So maybe that
where I'd had done those sort of years ago. So.
Yeah. So that to me made it thematically fit well. But yeah, I mean, I will agree. Like the rep system. And the other thing is too about the rep system. I feel like I was right. Like if you start Menaphos when you're supposed to, like as a mid-level player, maxing the rep system to do all the quests is super easy. Like I've been fishing in Menaphos. I'm only level 88, and I've already done all 3 quests. Like, so it sucks if you're already maxed, but if you're a mid-level player, like the rep system is something that you just fill out as you play. To be honest.
Yeah, but to me, a rep system needs to have real rewards, not treasure hunter promos.
Didn't they recently adjust that as well?
They fixed it all up too.
Yeah.
They didn't add. I don't think they added more rewards. They pulled adding more rewards at some point, but they actually haven't yet. No, I mean I can agree that the rewards should have been better for both things. That's fair. But yeah, I was just surprised because I was expecting them to not be as good as what I found them to be.
No,
they were
excellent.
my
They were excellent quests. Yeah.
Anyway,
if you hear my thing, because I did it all a while. I waited till and that was probably why I was a bit more sour on it as well, because I had to wait till I got the whole 300,000 rep done so that I could do them all together, and it just sort of, and because I played it all in one hit, it sort of felt that way. But yeah, anyway, that's
all right. We can actually cover a show topic now.
Nah, it's all right. You gave me time to figure out how to make my game window display correctly, so I used that time constructively.
One other
I still
thing,
need to finish that main quest that final quest on the Menaphos thing.
The final quest is very short.
I got to do all of them. I haven't done
Do
it.
No Evil, you're gonna hate, but the rest.
Yeah. I'm thinking about just marathoning them this weekend if I can find the energy.
Do No Evil has so many mechanical problems with it, but once you like figure out the limitations, like there's one part in Do No Evil where because they updated the mini map, but they haven't updated like the main map, that you basically have to use the main map in RuneScape to navigate one part because that's the old map, whereas the mini map is the new map, and that was kind of frustrating. But It was still a good quest lore wise. The mechanics need some freaking love though. Anyways.
Right on. Let me do a PSA, and then we can get into the meatier topics. The Avatar skill plot bonus is getting buffed soon. This is quoting Shawnee, who says, "Hey all, I wanted to push through a short-term change to ease your capping for the duration." I'm assuming he means of the year or until they fix the actual clan issues. Would you all be for me increasing the skill plot bonus? I can't say that, apparently. Skill plot bonus on an avatar from 10% to 100%. This should significantly shorten your time to cap in the current game for the duration. This will likely change again when Avatar Rework comes out, but this would help you get through the dullness of capping in the meantime. So this is to speed up capping for people until they rework the capping system. I'm all for this, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen.
It's coming out on Monday.
Yeah.
That'll make the skill plot
one at a
booster
time.
from Solomon's completely useless.
Completely useless? Mostly useless, right? Because you could still make it even faster. It's just you probably won't want to. It's probably a waste of money, right?
I mean, those things should still be tradable, and then they'd actually be useful. But
I agree. Although making things tradable from...
use them?
No, because you can't buy them with GP, right? But that's the thing is, like, making something tradable from Solomon's opens up a way to make money from rune coins. Which
they were tradable at first.
Oh, really?
And it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's no different than having
to buy them with loyalty points and then on the Grand Exchange.
Interesting. You
can buy. I don't really see how that's any different than the fact that you can buy a bond and then redeem that for rune
It's
coins
not.
and then use those rune coins to buy things. Like,
I just thought I would just bringing up a point.
But it's okay. So if this passes QA, it's going to be out on Monday, from what Shawnee said. And also, Shawnee says in here that the rework has a metric ton of stuff in it. So it sounds like they're going to make all the avatar bonuses somewhat better in the rework. I don't know. It would be nice if they made skill plots more rewarding when they rework the avatar. That way, like, you know, it's a like, to me, skill plots should be best XP in the game. Like, because it has a weekly cap to it, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like way better XP, but it should just be like, you know, a percentage point better than all other methods. I don't know how other people feel about that.
Or at least on par with the best.
Yeah, and maybe not all other methods. Like, you know, like, for example, cooking. Maybe you don't want it to give like rocktail or sailfish XP, but having it give shark level XP would be fine. And like, you know, like crafting, if it gave like green dragon hide XP, like that kind of stuff would be great. So hopefully they're taking that into consideration. So that way, you know, people feel more motivated to do the Citadel.
And just for the record, Mod Shoney's going to be showing off this avatar rework, or this avatar change, during his patch notes stream about 4 p.m. gay time.
Very nice. Patch notes are back. We didn't have one last week, so good to know.
Yes, and yeah, I was just gonna. That was what I was gonna try and bring up before. I didn't actually do a patch notes video this week because it was pretty much just Elite Dungeons. There wasn't a whole lot, and the main update was just the RunePass, which obviously we'll cover a bit later as well. But it just wasn't really feeling like this was going to be a video sort of anyone really wanted to hear.
There's a lot of
patch notes this week.
There's a lot of interesting things. Like Shawnee in the comments, someone here says, if he realizes it's so dull, I really hope that gets changed at some point as well, as in capping is dull. And Shawnee says, wait till the avatar rework. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot more depth to that rework than we would have originally thought, which is...
It's probably why it's taking so long, I would hope.
Yeah, because it got put in code review. It got put in code review, like...
Yeah.
I think it was like mod... Wasn't it mod... I don't remember which mod it was. Was it Mod Wolf or something? No, it wasn't Mod Wolf. Some mod who was like leaving to another team put it in code review back in December, but it sounds like they've added a bunch of stuff to it since then.
It was.
I think back then it was just a simple, you can get the buff without having to have the avatar out. But I'm all for making this, making more changes than that, and actually giving the clans a big update. Now we just need audit logs. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Before I forget, and while we're on a PSAs, there are 2 free items in Solomon's store. 2 new haircuts. Well, they're not new, but they're new to me. Demonic Claw and Ornate Odango. So those are free for members. Feel free to grab those if you want. Anyway, sorry to divert you there. I just didn't want... I didn't do the PSAs very well because I'm not good at that. Thank you very much.
That's usually my stick.
It's all good.
While we while we are on the PSAs, just want to say one of the ninja fixes off the patch notes that I did want to put out there for people who are hunting the pets. It's now possible to obtain the little Tuzzy pet from Beastmaster Durzag while on Raid's loot lockout period. So that where you have to go sort of every 2 days because you're locked out from rewards, it'll actually make it maybe a little easier to sort of get some of those teams to take you along now, because they have that chance at getting the pet even when it's off their 2-day chance at drops.
Did you hear that sound? It's the sound of polls in RuneScape meaning nothing ever again.
Yep, the system has officially been killed. Because what's the point of a polling system if you can just re-poll it if you don't like the results, right?
Yep.
That's so sad. Anyway, let's get into the month ahead, shall we? So this was a little bit of a controversial month ahead due to some silly things that were said, but we'll get to that. I think, yeah, exactly. That's my feeling as well. Just people need to just chill the hell out. But anyway, month ahead for July. It's a festival of dragons this month on a scale that you've never encountered before. Expect 3 dragon bosses, a dungeon knee-deep with dragons, and a new King Black Dragon, all wrapped up in our new elite dungeon, the Dragonkin Laboratory. So first up here is Dragonkin Laboratory, new elite dungeon. Let's get straight into the laboratory. Built ages ago in the northeast wilderness by the Dragonkin, these are rocky ruins dripping with magma and riddled with dragons. The perfect place for a family day out. Enter and you will face wave after wave of dragons, all eager to swallow adventurers in one. But survive long enough and you'll face Astralarn, the first celestial dragon, and holy crap is that model nice, and Varric Lith, the brother, a few times removed, of the King Black Dragon. There is more, of course, but our lips have been welded shut with dragonfire. We forgot to pote up. Rewards are pretty tasty, including new and upgraded elite tectonic masks, robes, graphical updates to existing tectonic gear, as well as dungeoneering XP and tokens. As well as with the first elite dungeon, the Temple of Amanishi, which was launched later last month, the Dragonkin Lab is for up to 3 players, and it becomes easier the more players you bring. It also comes with a story mode, reducing the challenge at the same time the rewards, making it a fine experience for almost any player, regardless of ability. You will need to have completed Temple of Amanishi once to enter the laboratory, so there's no better excuse to get in-game and prepare now. Oh, and yes, the Dragonkin Laboratory may be in the wilderness, but the grouping system will offer free teleports if you want to dodge PKers. So that's going to be the only way to get there without having to traverse the wilderness.
As long as it's on the Max Guild teleport, I'll be happy.
You big cowards!
Then I will never ever be going there.
Yeah, same. I mean, well, if I can't defeat Siryu, apparently I'll never be going there.
Well, so it's not the only way to get there. I had so much
fun doing that the other day. What was it, last week? I think?
It was fun, yeah. Yeah.
Go
ahead, Hana.
That was incredible.
It's not the only way to get there. It sounds like they're gonna make teletabs in some way. Yes. I think they said that, but also
they did, yeah.
Apparently, if you die, you can use Death's Lantern. This is even true in the first elite dungeon, like that lantern that you use to leave Death's office. You can use that to take you right back to the elite dungeon, and that will also work for elite dungeon 2.
Yes,
which is a fantastic change because that makes it so that the max portal isn't as OP as it possibly could be.
It's the first step towards that, which I think is a great idea.
I did not know that. Thank you for that information.
Yep.
Yeah.
Killer Bunny saying the new elite dungeon requires the amnesia to be completed. Yeah, that's which is going to be tough for me because I mean not impossible but tough. Yeah, we do have to get back down there. I think it's doable though.
Go with David, and you won't even have to do anything for the fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
David actually got Shane and Tannis over on the other podcast, their kills.
Nice.
And Tannis is he has a slight problem, so he can't see the screen. So he just sat there and basically he just sat there eating and got carried through.
Oh, that's nice of David. Always a good dude. I love that guy. The beach is making its return on the 30th of July. As with previous years, this will be a Lumbridge Crater takeover with all your traditional sunny festives included. Alongside hefty scoops of XP and happy hours, the beach will be bringing something new, a face in the hole where you can create fantastic photo booth shots for your forum avatar. So that's something new.
I hope this time they actually make it possible to get the pet drops there as well to make it worthwhile for sort of higher levels.
They already said they
They
won't.
used to originally, but they took it out, I think, one year.
Yes.
They
No,
didn't originally.
You can get fishing. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could
it's
get
fishing
fishing.
only.
Yeah.
Still fishing only, yeah, because it's the same mechanics as normal fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It just means that basically they copied and pasted the fishing code and none of the other code.
Yeah. But if there's no
Let's
pet
hope
drops
the
there,
photo
it's
booth.
not going to me for me.
Okay, let's hope the photo booth we can actually take a photo of us like a goby or something just for Mod Shawnee.
I think there will be probably something like that. I'm excited for it. I think it's a little fun addition to the beach, which I like.
It's the only addition.
We
Yeah.
need a
Well, it's
cosmetic.
beautiful,
I'm
yes.
gonna let Jagex make this cosmetic, but I want a cosmetic called beach ball buns.
The beach already has a ton of stuff for you to do, so I don't know. It doesn't feel like there needs to be even more added. I don't know. So is the beach? One thing they haven't said if it's gonna be capped like it has been in previous years, because like
I mean, it
The way
sounds
they-
like it's gonna be the same, right?
the way they do the fair now, like the fair has no XP cap. It would be cool if they would do the same thing for the beach.
I mean, they say traditional, which
No,
makes
I don't think so. I
makes-
don't think it'd be uncapped because of the heat. No.
I don't think that they're making that change, but you never know.
I'm not saying they are making that change. I'm saying they should make that change.
Mm.
Different.
Okay.
Then you
gotcha.
won't be able to sell your ice creams.
Yeah, everyone always ends up with way more ice
Buy
cream
ice
than they
creams
need.
with
I know.
Buy MTX
I
for
would-
ice creams.
I think they end up at being like 900 GP each.
That's
Yeah,
more.
the ice creams cost nothing. Like anyone who complains about the MTX at the beach just wants to
Is an
complain.
idiot.
Let's
Yeah,
just see
that's
if they change the MTX of the beach this year at all. See if they make it any better or worse, or maybe it remains the same. I thought the beach was always pretty light on MTX.
Yeah, because
And
like I
speaking
mean,
of MTX, oh sorry.
it's so RNG related. Like you can literally just buy the stuff off the GE for like less than like 10 mil for every reward. You don't even have to participate in the beach to get everything for super cheap. So it's an awesome event in that case. Anyways, I'll let Pern do his awesome segue now.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you did. And speaking of MTX, the
Yeah.
next topic is
Yeah, well, we'll get into this one in a little broader topic later down, but obviously they added a new thing into the game, new version of MTX called RunePass, which is basically a version of Battle Pass that you're seeing in a lot of other games that are on the market at the moment, mainly MMO-style games. And it's just a new way of
I would
creating...
say shooter style, not MMOs.
Okay, yeah, I just mean like communities with persistent, large, massive online communities is what I was trying to say. But yes, it is mainly being used in shooters, but it's also being used in MOBAs as well.
Also, contrary to popular belief, not started by Fortnite.
Yeah, no, not started by Fortnite, but definitely inspired by Fortnite, or at least popularized by Fortnite.
Yeah, I just mean the idea. Like people are acting like Jagex stole this idea
Yeah.
from Fortnite or something, and it's like, first of all, you can't steal an idea like this from someone. Like that's just a silly concept. But even if that is the truth, then Fortnite stole this idea from
Lol.
Valve.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And Valve, let's be honest, is the king of MTX.
that's 100% true.
So we also have Account Security Week coming up from the 9th to the 15th of July, celebrating the benefits of a safe account. With Account Safety Week, Account Check will be in Berthorpe to check your bank PIN and authenticate it, rewarding you with XP, plus 2 additional daily treasure hunter keys if you are secure. Importantly, he will also offer security-themed clue scrolls again, so you'll be able to get those
Oh, I
rewards.
love those clue scrolls. Those clue scrolls were cool.
They're easy at AF as well. So if you want some easy clue scrolls,
Yeah.
do these.
And sometimes the rewards are really good too.
Well, yeah, I think they're the same rewards as regular clue scrolls. They just have different
Skills to your level, yeah.
different
And this time I
guides.
kept my boots and such from the security of Stronghold in my bank. So because
Imagine
they
if you
can't
don't
be stored
go
in the
there this
player
year,
own house
screw
or
you
anything
around.
like that. And,
That's annoying.
You've got to have those on.
The biggest thing I wish that they would do is honestly, the 2 additional keys thing, that should just be a feature. If you have a bank pin and authenticator, you should just get 2 additional keys, no matter what. Hot take. I think we said that 2 years ago when this first started, but I'll say it again.
Do it. Yeah, make it happen. I mean, I'm still salty that the double key package is not purchasable with bonds, but let's not even go there.
Yeah, I mean, well, we should go there. I don't know that it'll come up at another point in the show, but that in case we forget to talk about this later when we're talking about RunePass, like it is kind of
it's kind of scummy.
shitty that Jagex was like, "Hey, you can buy this with bonds," and now they've walked that back. And I haven't seen a single mod comment on that, which is also like super weird.
I mean,
so I don't know what's going on there. Like that's something. I guess the community hasn't really been talking about it much either. But I would really love to hear from a JMod as to why they canceled that.
Yeah, they didn't. I was hoping to get that question in on the Q&A this week, but they did not want to answer it. So they had enough on their plate. To be fair,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they didn't want to answer.
Yeah,
the community
enough.
The community isn't even talking about that at large. It's like something that basically disappeared.
It got buried because of the larger issue, right? Which which issue? The word issue is debatable. But let's continue on into the month ahead here, shall we? Which got overshadowed mostly by RunePass, ironically. I'm going to read as much as I can of this, but I might be handing off to Pern to take a little break on my voice here. So just be prepared for that. About halfway through here, I think I'm going to give my voice a little rest. So RunePass, the next step of time-limited events, which again, not to be confused with time-gated events. Those are 2 different things. Dailyscape and time-limited events are not the same thing, even though players want them to be, so they can yell about them. But anyway, which is obviously also following a lot of what the industry is doing with progress-based systems like Fortnite, PUBG, LoL, Dota, etc. A number of games in the industry were just kind of trying it out, so we're experimenting too. Why was the decision made to make this another payment on top of what we already have? How can we justify it? Response being, I know how you can perceive that since we just increased membership, this is just an experiment. It's not forever. This is something that may never even crop up again. For this week, additionally, there are no Treasure Hunter promos because this is your promo for the week. This doesn't apply to the second week. Majority of activity will happen in the first week, so we still have stuff coming out for the second week. So, I mean, to be fair, I'm glad that they're at least dropping it for the first week, which, you know, I honestly... You could probably finish the entire promo in 1 week if you wanted to. So, I still think it would have been better if they had held back and just done no promos. I think the goodwill earned from that would have been worth more than the money they earned from the promo in week 2. But that's just my thought.
We're talking Jagex. They
love money. Anyway,
well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they're not a charity.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a business. Their aim is to make money for their shareholders, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Indeed. We are given targets to achieve. However, we are given the choice as a team to achieve those targets any way we want. So we know how we want to achieve our targets. We know as a team that we don't want to forevermore in the future, in the next couple of years, to always be doing power promos. We don't want it to be smoldering lamps every week to achieve those targets. So again, this is, you know, being kind of candid here, admitting that, like, you know, they have targets to meet. They need to meet those targets. And I mean, yeah, the easy way to do that is to just pump out, you know, XP promo after XP promo, but they don't want to do that because it's bad for the game. We want to be in a position whereby we can focus on cosmetics, we can focus on progress. What I really like about RunePass is, and if it works, we can focus on that, and that means bringing the focus away from other things and is a benefit for the longevity of the game. So that can mean if it's really successful, it can mean a reduction in promo frequency, power of promotions, and even membership fees. Which again, these are some big, bold claims, right? Like membership fees, promo frequency, and power of promotions. All of those things are, you know, hot button issues for the community.
They actually said that.
Yeah. These are things that Osborne...
2 out of 3, I believe.
That's the big thing.
They shouldn't have said that when it comes to the membership.
Yeah, they should never have mentioned membership, because once they got that membership up, they're not going to be dropping the price.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, unless it's in their packages.
There is a feature where RuneScape goes free to play and microtransactions get 5 million times worse.
Yeah,
there's even like a subset of the community, like basically saying, Jagex, make the game free to play. And I'm like, you people have no idea what hell you are asking for.
Yeah.
Like, if you think MTX are bad now, just wait until it's like, buy this 100% XP booster for $50 for 2 weeks. Like, Jesus Christ, you have no idea.
Buy this
or
tier
like
95
Yep.
wand. that's
Tier
gonna cost
95
you
weapons out on
$500.
Treasure Hunter first.
Yeah,
That's what I fear more, is being able to buy DPS and stuff like that.
exactly.
Which
Free to play, that's what you'll be doing.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. If it's free to play, that's probably the road that we would go down. And I mean, I can see a world where RuneScape itself, the game, is free to play. Like, all the content is free to play, but you pay for bonuses like XP and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily want to live in that world. Let me continue on here. So more.
No, me either. People so underestimate what that would mean for the game. Like, I don't know. One of the biggest themes I'll probably say over and over again is people think MTX is worse than it is, and it's bad. I'm not saying it's not bad, but it is not anywhere near what a free-to-play MMO would be.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Indeed.
Some more good things on RunePass and why we like it. It isn't RNG. That's a big point for me. Like, that's one of the reasons why I like this, is I know what I'm getting. There's a path to the progress, to the rewards that I want, and I can lay it out. Like, it's so nice to be able to open up RunePass and be like, all right, I have 9 days. I'm on this tier. This is what I've been doing a day. Okay, I'm still on course to complete this by X day. I like to be able to do that. And then,
Just quick, cutting in there for a second. So
Yeah.
Did we all buy it except for Dx?
I bought it.
I did.
I have not bought it
I
yet.
did not buy it.
Oh.
I like the idea of it. I mean, I have no issue with the with what it is. I actually like what they have done here. It's just not something that I feel necessary to spend money on for myself personally.
And that's fine. And what I want to say about that is, you doing the free track, you can still show your support. Like,
Yeah, well, I'm doing the free track of it.
that's exactly what I'm. Yeah, that's good, because I mean, you don't have.
pay 400 rune coins just to unlock the other two, isn't that right? Isn't that the way it goes?
If you want to
Yeah,
do the
to get a lot
gold,
more cosmetics and things.
yeah, if you want to do the
for
gold
that as well.
pass, it's gonna cost you 400 rune coins, which is the equivalent
Right.
of $10 or 3 bonds with leftover rune coins, because
Yeah.
that's annoying.
Do you think they should
So-
drop that a bit?
Nope. Oh, well,
Because of
yes, kind of. I think it should be dropped by 10 rune coins.
So that you can get it with
So that
two?
it's equal to the price of 2 bonds.
Yeah.
I think
Ah,
one of the most predatory things Jagex does is
mm.
if you buy rune coins with money, they give you slightly more than you need. If you buy them with bonds, they give you slightly less than you need, and I think that is scummy.
That needs
That's a
change.
middle finger, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
But
I agree with
again,
the X
most
there.
places do that type of thing because they want you to have that little bit left over, and then there might be something else on the store that, I've got those there, so I'm gonna do that as well.
yeah,
I mean, that's
but
just- that's
it just
just
doesn't feel
standard.
good to a consumer. I mean, it is standard in some places, and those places generally get. I mean, like a lot of that, like it used to be standard 10 years ago. A lot of the gaming community has moved away from that. Like you can look, like Microsoft used to do that with like the points that
points.
you would buy. Yeah, you would use to buy games, but they've even gotten rid of that system. So like there has been a motion in the gaming community to move away from that kind of shit, and I think Jagex.
Yeah, I'm talking
should
more
join that.
real life rather than sort of the gaming stuff. Like, you'll buy a pack of hot dogs, there's 8 hot dogs, but you go and buy the buns, there's 6 buns, and
Yeah.
all those type of things. They complimentary things like that. There's always more of something.
But
Are you
giving
ta-
you more is cool, but giving you the thing about like if they were giving
Well-
you slightly more of one, it would be cooler. But the thing about bonds
I'm not-
is they give you slightly less, and that hurts.
I'm-
And it's only by like 10 rune coins.
I
That's just-
really did not know
feels
that
shitty.
hot dog bun obfuscation was a thing. That's crazy.
You didn't know
Yeah.
that?
Well,
Wow.
that's the type of thing.
I don't
Like,
grocery
I'll
shop
go
for
and buy a
myself
pack-
very
yeah,
often.
I'll go and buy a pack of hot dogs.
Just
There's
grab
8 in there.
shit.
That's 2 each for the family. But when I go and get the buns, I've got to buy 2 packs of buns. So basically, I'm throwing away 4 buns.
See, I just eat all.
Screwed by big hot dogs.
I just eat all the hot dogs and the buns. Just no mercy.
I mean, I don't throw them away. I mean, I'll use them for other things. But I mean, that's
Have you?
all right.
You haven't lived until you've put peanut butter and jelly inside of a hot dog roll. Okay.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So, but what I want, I have not bought RunePass yet, and I want to. The only reason I haven't is because I don't like. I'm trying to max, and I'm really debating if I want to spend the essentially 40 mil that it will, because I don't have the disposable income for it to spend cash on it. But like if I had the GP like free, I would have bought it instantly, and there's still a good chance I will buy it. But one thing keeping me from doing it is just like I want to max, and if I spend 40 mil on that, that's 40 mil I got to earn back in game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's completely fairly priced. I don't have a problem with the price. It's just where I'm at currently. Is it worth it to me to buy it? Because like Pern said, like
to make more aggression potions.
The only really reward that I would want off of it is like the XP boosting stuff, which is also the rewards I have the most problem with. Like the outfits, and the elite, the legendary pet, I don't personally need. But you know.
It was also really easy for me to make a decision because I happened to have over 400 rune coins just lying around on my account, so I didn't have to make a purchase to unlock the event.
You've also got over 400 bonds lying around your account, so
you know.
Damn! Don't put that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's hyperbole, but I am collecting bonds.
It's got 399.
I've thought
I'm pretty
about.
sure that you've bragged previously on the show about your wealth, so I don't think I'm putting anything out there that hasn't been out there.
I mean, you know, it's just
We don't have to put numbers on it, do we?
we don't. I mean,
Magebit has said before that like he's. I won't say because I'm getting yelled at. But Mage, like a week or two ago, Mage said the number. I know you're just messing with me, but I'm just defending myself, anyways.
Yeah, it's all good. Just to show my goodwill, I threw my wealth in chat just to make myself a huge effing target. Anyway, players don't immediately get thrown a benefit for spending money. They have to work for it. The community interaction of players progressing together. How to engage with it even more so than bonus XP. So this is the big thing that I really like the most is you have to work to get your rewards. It's not just to like, oh, I'm gonna spend money and I'm just better. No, it's like, okay, I'm buying into this system in order to have a chance at getting some cool items. It's like a little contest, a competition. I don't know. It's engaging, and I appreciate that.
It'll cost a friend won't be able to do it it'll max an account in 3 days, and it'll cost him a lot more than $15,000 this way.
Well, the cool thing, I mean, it is cool that this requires. Like the thing is, like this is kind of the opposite of Treasure Hunter in some ways. Like Treasure Hunter is like. I mean, it's super useful at high levels, but it's also super useful at low levels. Where like RunePass is not gonna appeal to a lower level player because it's gonna take more work than they'll be able to put in. Like for example, you need to earn like basically 360k XP a day to unlock the pass. You're not gonna be able to do that if you're like all level 50s and stuff. So it's interesting that RunePass is kind of moving the target away from like low-level players, and obviously high-level player whales are still used by Treasure Hunter. Not trying to say it's not, but like RunePass is something that is not going to appeal to a lower-level audience, which I actually kind of like in some ways. It's appealing to a different audience, and I like that. Part of the community hates it. Apparently, the community hates everything about this on Reddit, no matter what you say. But I don't know. It's an interesting design. Instead of having it available to anyone, it's more like if you have like 80+ in skills, then you can do this.
Sorry, I had my mic muted there because the phone was ringing. Yeah, I mean, getting to 5 million XP can be difficult for a lot of players. I think that that goal kind of turned a lot of people off, and they were like, holy crap, like, I was supposed to be some sort of god to take part in this event? But that's really there more as just like hey, if you are no-lifing it, here's a few extra starfish points. Like, you don't by any means need to hit the 5 million XP.
Next topic after this, we have
all the breakdown, right?
All the breakdown, yeah.
So we'll come back to this. I'll keep going along here. So let's see, where did I leave off? The things we can do with RunePass that aren't in the current promo, additional changes we can get in if you play Fortnite, and they do things like we've hidden things in the environment for you to find. It enriches the gameplay. As a lead designer, I can jump off of that and do themes. I like a lot of these RunePass users are doing with things like generating seasons, and we can tie that into gameplay, and then and they can reinforce each other. So again, I don't know. I feel like Osborne's just kind of stream of consciousness-ing ideas here, but I mean, sure, seasons are fine. You can do any of that type of stuff, and of course I'm gonna like it. It's just, will it be done well? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean,
manually interrupt her for a sec.
Yeah.
This was just sent out by Mod Shawnee a few seconds ago. We've now manually updated the GE prices of Scrimshaw to be more accurate for Scrimshaws.
Oh, good.
The way, that way, yeah. Anyway, so
People were getting
I posted
scammed.
it in general.
So that's good.
I
Yeah.
posted in general and in the Magebit's Twitch chat.
Good stuff. Thank you. Let's see. This RunePass. Imagine the number of challenge vastly increasing. Free track being more generous. Doesn't mean we have to give up proteins and XP. We can do more cosmetics. So that's even kind of addressed it. They don't have to do XP. I think if you want to get... you know what? You don't. Because, like, Treasure Hunter is not necessarily, like, completely going away. So, I mean, you can take XP off this completely and just leave Treasure Hunter kind of there as the way to passively get XP for now, I guess.
You could take XP boosts out of the game completely.
You could.
And it would not... Like, there would be a small reduction in the amount of money you spend, but if you invested enough money in a graphics team to make really cool outfits, like, people would still buy that shit. I mean, like, you just have to look at something like Fortnite that literally, like, or even like PUBG or even Overwatch, that like their entire games are funded off of cosmetic only rewards. Obviously they have much bigger audiences, and that's part of it. But the other thing they have is they put a lot of work into making really, really cool outfits. And honestly, like, Jagex, why don't you go cosmetic only, update the player model so you can make cooler shit, and then start making cooler shit?
Hopefully,
novel idea.
Hopefully with the transition to Maya, we'll start seeing more advanced models in the future.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, that's one of the most super exciting things they've done in the past few years, is getting away from all the terrible in-house tools that slow down dev time.
Yeah, for sure. Get some, like...
But I mean, I think this is definitely Osborne's stream of consciousness. Like, this stream was totally a reaction. Like, the player base went so negative, and this whole point of this stream was Osborne trying to say, like, what his hopes and dreams for the future of MTX are and the future of RunePass. And, like, honestly, it made me super happy to hear, because this is the kind of stuff I want to see. Obviously, they actually have to do it now. That has to happen if they just say this and move on. But the one thing they have been showing constantly over the past, like, let's say, week since this happened is communication. Like, this whole thing blew up on Friday. When they got in the office on Monday, they started responding to stuff. They had this stream on Tuesday that was basically half of the stream was addressing the players' concerns about MTX. And Mod Osborne has spent literally the rest of the week commenting on Reddit endlessly to try to address people's concerns. So, like, gone are the days where Jagex doesn't talk to us about this stuff. Like, they are talking. And that is a good sign. Obviously, if they just talk and do nothing, there's a problem. But previously they didn't talk, and they also didn't do much. And so talking is a good sign that they actually want to prove to us that they're willing to adjust what they've been doing.
Let's also remember that with what's happening around the world on loot boxes and such, this is their first iteration of moving away from full reliance on that type of thing, because what's happened in the Netherlands already, and it'll probably start happening in more and more countries. That
it's actually being debated here in Australia now.
Yeah, the thing is, those laws are not like loot spots specific. Like, there are certain requirements, and it's very possible that Treasure Hunter doesn't fall into those with how it works. They do have to be prepared, but like people pitting their hopes and dreams on those laws, like destroying Treasure Hunter. Like, Treasure Hunter works very differently than a lot of other loot box systems, which may, in some ways, let them get around those laws. So I don't think there's any guarantee that that's going to affect.
No, exactly. They do have to prepare and such like that.
I think
this is that first iteration. So
I think one of the major I think points of contention or what's going to be debated the most about whether Jagex's loot boxes are considered illegal, or whether or not black markets are considered a market. Are they considered? I know they're not considered a legitimate market by a law. So, considering we're talking from a legal standpoint, if Jagex's MTXs are only sellable on black markets, because there is no legal market to sell these things for off of Treasure Hunter, then does it constitute gambling because they have no perceived value beyond what other players put it at. I think that's a good arguing point. I would argue that yes, if a black market exists, then there is a perceived value, and therefore,
what can you trade it? Most of the stuff on Treasure Hunter, you're not going to make actual money off of. Like,
yeah, you're right, but this is we're dealing with this from an ideological standpoint. We're dealing with law here, not physical.
Well, yeah,
actual
but
things.
The laws. I don't think that has anything to do with like the laws are addressing things like Overwatch. Like I think the thing that leaves Jagex the most protection is the fact that Treasure Hunter will actually show you what possible rewards you have next. Like things like that in Treasure Hunter's design leave them like more leniency than like Overwatch. For Overwatch, every chest you open, you roll for like every possible reward in the game. Whereas the way Treasure Hunter works, like at that scrolling bar at the bottom is telling you like these are like the 20 or 30 possible rewards that you could get if you open this box. And I think that leaves some protection for Jagex over the way other MTX works.
It's interesting because I see those what you could win next in a completely opposite light. I see that as predatory because I don't know, and this is more because of my ignorance to, are those actually prizes that were pulled from the next generation of Treasure Hunter if I were to spin again? Are those literal prizes coming up next, or are you just tantalizing me with things that I could win but probably will not win? They just happen to be put there because that's what's on special, and you're trying to make me spin some more.
No, the ones that are rolling down the bottom are what you can get in those chests.
Not the ones that are like scrolling across the screens, but like when it comes up next and it shows like the 3 purples on screen, it's like you could win these if you buy more keys.
Yeah.
That's I see that as predatory.
That's not what I'm.
Okay, you're referring to the promotional where it spins across the screen showing you what's in that current promotion.
What's in each box.
Okay.
It shows you the ones you got frozen if you freeze them and all that.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean now, and that is definitely something that the other companies do not offer. And yeah, it shows you what's inside before you actually do it. There's still a heavy level of randomness, obviously. I don't know. That's an interesting argument.
There is. It's enough of a differentiator that like a lot of the current laws going into place.
Yeah.
And once again, none of us are law experts, so like take what we're saying with a grain of salt. But from my understanding of the laws and comparing it to what Jagex is doing, that type of system actually provides them some protection against what's currently being outlawed.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like you could, as a lawyer, even argue the opposite and say by showing what's inside you're tantalizing and manipulating people into a sunken cost fallacy. Oh, the item that I wanted, it's in the next one. I can see now. I have a chance to get it because it's in this one. I can see it. Like I know that's probably. I
don't think that's why this stuff's illegal though. Like I don't think that's
I know
legality that you argue to get loot boxes made illegal.
Maybe not. But again, not a lawyer. Just talking from my heart. That these are the things that bother me about them. Anyway, how does Jagex gauge success from MTX events? It's not just about the number of purchases. A lot of people have said that people are just buying it for the legendary pet. That actually hasn't been true. Majority of people are actually completing the challenges and buying tiers, which shows that they actually want the rewards, not just the pet from buying into the challenge.
Probably the dumbest thread I've ever seen on Reddit was someone posting like, Jagex says this is the most successful event ever because it has 3 times the interaction of others. You literally just have to gain XP to have interacted with this event. Like they're just making up excuses, and it's funny because this whole part here basically says, no, we measured the success of this event in a ton of different ways, but people want to be angry.
That's basically what everything boils down to, is people want to be angry. We're looking at a number of people who complete challenges. How many people are buying into it, and how much are they spending? At first sign, so far, it is a viable alternative to Treasure Hunter promos. It's in the same ballpark. That's great news right there. That the number of people buying into this promo is about what we would expect from a Treasure Hunter promo. That right there is just like huge news, because I feel like most things that you try to replace Treasure Hunter promos with that aren't XP grabs would come nowhere close to an XP grab. They're saying this is almost close to an XP grab. That makes me excited.
I don't know. Like they wouldn't run outfit promos on Treasure Hunter if they weren't popular.
I guess.
So like there's no way that like cosmetics motivate people more than people think. Because I mean, there's people like Pern who don't care about them, but also
And then
people like
there's
Pern
Magebit.
don't care about XP.
But yeah, while I say I don't care about them, if it's something in game that I have to work at to unlock, I work my ass off to unlock it. I'll never wear it, but I will work my ass off because it is that sense of achievement that I've done this to get that.
But yeah, I get that. I'm just using you as like one example. Like there's plenty of people who aren't motivated by cosmetics, but there's a clear proof within the gaming industry that like people at large are motivated by cosmetics.
Spending
so like
money, that's right.
So like you don't need to give people XP to make them spend money, and that's like the biggest lesson that we could hopefully hammer into JS's skull is like you don't have to give away XP. Just make cosmetics really good and give those away. Like I don't care. Hire 50 people to make outfits. Release an outfit literally every day of the year. If that gets us away from XP, I'd be happy.
From this discussion and from what I'm reading here, I am actually tempted to buy the RunePass just to, not because I want it, just to show support for this type of promo compared to the others.
If you have the disposable wealth, I would urge you to do that.
When I tell you the economic value of it next in the next section, you might even be more convinced.
I'll finish up with this section here. So map all of that against other factors in terms of people playing it. It is 3 times more engaged with than any other time limit event we've done, and this is a shadow of what it could be. This could even replace daily challenges. Although it's doing well, we've corrupted it through sentiment. Do not take its success as us saying right now that it is 100% going to return. It may not. It may come back with a different look. You compare RunePass to Fortnite, but the reason it works well in Fortnite is because it's extremely cosmetic-based. I would argue so is RuneScape. But anyway, Fortnite does have progress boosting as well, but we'd love to be able to build a library large enough that we didn't have to do that and make the progress boosting away from direct progress boosting and do things more like items that help with individual tiers, items that make certain challenges easier. Fortnite and other freemium games versus RuneScape subscription implementing passes. Yeah, but don't forget people are paying subscriptions for regular game updates, not just these battle passes. I know people are going to call me up on that because this month isn't packed, but you are getting a strong service for your membership. Though, you know, every game update. Yeah, go ahead.
So something that I don't like what he said here is Osborne kind of tried to argue that Fortnite does have direct progression boosting, but like levels in Fortnite don't matter.
Yeah.
Like levels in Fortnite are just an EP-ness measurement.
Yeah.
Like they're not actually like anything that has any effect on your gameplay. So trying to correlate RuneScape levels to levels in Fortnite is a bit disingenuous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. No, just hit 100 million strength XP.
Well done, buddy.
Okay, thank you. Continuing on here, admittedly, so we're looking into this, that the initial purchase is small. Let's keep in mind we're not talking hundreds of pounds, so it's not much, but regardless, it's still a payment, and I understand that. We're looking into things like how does it work with Premier Club members, because this was a test, we didn't have time to work that out. Maybe Premier Club gets all rune passes, or a certain number of rune passes. Maybe they get a certain amount of progress unlocked. See, I would rather that. Like, maybe we just get, like, double progress, or I don't know, like 30% more I don't know. I don't want to like just be like, oh, here's all the rewards because you're a Premier Club member. That would be boring.
No, I don't think he's saying here's all the rewards. You get all the room pass, so you get the paid version, but you still have to work for it. But you get access to all the paid.
I was really surprised that they said this part because, like, to me, I don't know. People complain about Premier Club's value all the fucking time. Which, first of all, it's a cheaper way to get membership. Second of all, you get what? Like, you get one new cosmetic outfit, and like, how many tokens are they giving you over the
3
over the year's time?
4.
So you,
no, I trust you.
I thought it was 4.
No, I believe so. It was like 2 up front, 2 later, or something.
Yeah.
So you
2
get
up front, 2 later.
Yeah.
So that's 5 potential cosmetic outfits you get every year from this free thing. You get the best aura in the game basically every time. This aura is slightly worse than last year's because last year's was broken as hell, but it's still the best aura in the game. Being able to reset an aura for free, like, so good. And you get double loyalty points. Like Premier Club already is a huge value. So the fact they're talking about potentially adding RunePass value to that in some way is shocking to me, but I'm happy because it's apparently something people want. So yeah. I think tokens, like if you could, give people like 3 tokens, here's 3 RunePass tokens, and you can use these on any RunePass you want throughout the year, and you can, instead of having to pay the 400 rune coins, you can unlock it for free. I think that would probably be the best approach, much like the cosmetic tokens they give you now. I
like that idea. Or again, you have your platinum,
yes,
your platinum Premier Club where you'll get your rune score thing and these, but it's going to cost you rune metrics. That's the one.
if it costs more, it would be an interesting way to do it. But I think the community would be pissed and be like, "Why isn't it a part of Gold Premier?" I don't know. Like, I like the idea.
So you can say you have one at Gold Premier, and then you've got the Platinum Premier where you get rune metrics, and then you'll get you 3 of them. And,
I'm just saying
the version of Premier Club that is cheaper than normal membership. It doesn't need to be packed full of every single bonus for the entire year because it's cheaper than normal membership.
Exactly. But even so, it is packed.
And it is packed full of
This year's not trying to call it RunePass. This year's Premier Club has more benefit than the 2016 Premier Club did.
How about that 2012 one though? The rune coins.
Sure.
I know. I'm just being silly.
But like the 2016 one was, I think, like $20 to $40 more than actually paying for membership.
Yeah.
And the rewards were worse than what this year's, which is like $20 cheaper. And we haven't even mentioned the rewards where you're gonna get what I think like 4 exclusive Premier Club only updates. We still don't know what the hell that means, and that sounds broken as hell to me, but they're going to be doing that. You're also getting the early bird benefits they give you every time a major update comes out. You also get the free monthly XP. Like, Premier Club is so packed, and people's like flipping out about it. It's just like, it's astounding that people can't see how much value they get for that package. And that's why I don't think they could add it. That's why I don't think they could add a platinum one, because I think people would rage that they're adding one when they're not adding value to gold. Like, people's perception is so warped.
I 100% agree with the thought process, and it makes me mad because I would purchase a platinum package in a heartbeat. I'm thrilled that the Premier Club is cheaper than normal membership, but I want a bunch of flashy cosmetics and extras and stuff like that, and I want to pay extra for it. And the fact that they don't have that option makes me a little sad. And also, think of what that would do for bond prices. Like, assuming you could buy a platinum membership with bond prices, like, it would have to be more expensive than the regular one. So, I mean, like, you could see record bond prices. Somebody stop me!
Remember, like, a year ago when Magebit was sad that bond prices were going up, and now he's become a merchant, so he's like, oh no, have them go up forever. Have them be 50 mil a piece.
Do remember, though, you do have to pay a 10% conversion when you make them tradable.
That's why he wants them to go up.
Yeah, well, this is this is why you convert them when they're at their lowest, right? So you save them, and then, they fell to 15 mil. Time to convert 20 of them, and then they shoot up to 20 mil, and you sell them. Unfortunately, you have to have the money to buy in. That's the problem. It's expensive to get in.
It's like any merchant there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, if you have $1 billion to put in, you can get somewhere. But if you only have a couple $100 million, it's painfully slow. So I just didn't bother until recently. But even so, I'm waiting for the 1 year that I invest in bonds. This is going to be the year where there's a colossal fuck up and bonds actually crash instead, and I lose like all my money. Like, that's just my luck. Like, I don't invest in things. I don't do these types of risky things because generally my luck is pretty shit. So I'm just saying, watch the one time I decide to invest. This will be the year that
I would love to see that if it drops through the floor like that.
I'll quit.
I'll just scooping them.
I'll just quit. Let's just see here. Anyway, So why was the main game update RunePass? From a staff perspective, we've released time limit of events on Monday before, and we just saw that as being the same thing. Internally, we don't consider this an update, despite us having called it one on this stream and on Facebook's posts and all that fun stuff. Every time the game is rebooted, it's a game update. It even included as a news post and patch notes. It's kind of odd to say that RuneScape has to come with another piece of content. The real reason is if... I'm sorry. Oh yeah, RunePass has to come with a new piece of content. The real reason is if you launch a test, you remove all other factors. If RunePass came out with a game update such as Elite Dungeon 2, you would have to ask things like, why aren't people doing challenges? Is it because they're playing Elite Dungeons? We want to do it right, and we want to know if it's really going to work. So, you know, releasing it standalone kind of gave them the opportunity for it to take the spotlight and, you know, get a little more pure analytics on it. I think that's fair.
This part reads a little bit disingenuous too to me. Like, I can see part of where they're coming from, but they did 100% build this as an update. What they call it internally, like, doesn't matter. Like, call it an update on the front page. Like, I think he was a little bit dishonest here about what they were doing. Like, they wanted to call an update to generate more hype for it. Like, at least that's how I interpret it. And I don't have a problem with that, but don't try to say that's not what you're doing, because that's definitely what it felt like. And I mean, there's a snowball's chance. I mean, there's a chance that I'm wrong, but that's definitely how it feels. And yeah, I mean, also, like, you look at the patch notes, and the patch notes for the first time ever, instead of like listing previous week's hot fixes, like, they listed hot fixes as regular patch notes, which is like, I've never seen them do that before. So they did a lot of strange stuff around this update that just looks a little bit fishy, and I think maybe
clearly was poorly timed.
I think maybe they learned that they shouldn't handle it that way, but yeah, I think there is danger in calling an MTX thing an update. Like, they could have, what they should have done is restart the servers, said, hey, this is a super late patch week, threw up that, and then, you know, put up a separate post saying, here's RunePass. Like, that would have been a much better way to handle it. Separate those things out for sure.
I don't disagree. Killer Bunny's saying, also, not all people can buy bonds for Premier in March or April when they're at their lowest, and some people are racing to buy bonds, driving the prices way up. So people buying bonds for Premier are having to fight other players, paying 20% more for their bonds. So that bonds are cheaper is only true if you take an average of bond price, not if you take into account what is actually happening to average players, which is very true. That's very fair. That's why I was pretty much saying that, like, you have to have the money to buy into that system. If you don't have the money, then yeah, it's completely at the whim of, like, holy crap, I gotta buy bonds for Premier Club. It's just you gotta think of, like, how Pern did it, you know, where he was slowly buying them over the course of the year. Like, that's what the average player needs to do. Like, that year that you bought your Iron Man Premier Club and whatnot, it's like you got to slowly buy them throughout the year and get ready. And if you're new to buying your membership with bonds, you're probably not thinking of that. But after the first year or two, you should hopefully catch on to that real quick, that you need to start buying your bonds, like,
you start buying
at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done for most players. Like, that means that you basically have to have, like, I mean, it's a hard place to get to, at least. Like, once you're there doing it, sure, it works. But, like, if you are used to spending your money on bonds in December, transitioning that to March is super hard, because that means, like, you have to make, you know, enough money for the bonds in December and then have enough money by March to buy them again, essentially.
No, you don't buy them all at once. So what I was doing is, you know, I'd buy one or two at a time. You know, when I see the prices, I'll just leave what I want to pay for them in the bank, and, you know, they slowly bought over that time as I had the money. I didn't pay the whole sort of 380 million. Yeah, well,
sitting there at a certain price.
I heard somewhere that after 7 days, even if you've got it sitting in there, that your bid is actually cancelled. So every 7 days, I just renewed it.
It's only if you don't log in 7 days.
Oh, is it
right there for a second?
Yeah, as soon as you log back in, and I think that where you heard that from might have been from me, because I had a misunderstanding about that some time ago.
Actually, I think it was you who said that. Yeah,
I believe the way it works, as far as I understand it now, is that if you don't log in for 7 days, any GE offers you have become inactive. but they become inactive instantly again as soon as you log back in. So you'll lose your place in the queue, but your offers will become active like if you log back in. If anyone has any corrections on that, feel free to let us know. I'd like to know if I'm wrong.
So I don't have to keep cancelling every 7 days.
No, you can just leave it in there. I believe that it's correct.
In fact, if you keep canceling, it might actually be kicking you out of the queue.
Yeah,
no, it definitely does.
Excuse me. My mouth is so dry. But I'm going to finish this section. Why are JMods not replying to any of the sentiment issues? And Shawnee's saying, it pisses me off. I can't reply to bug posts without getting told. Why haven't you put a statement out on this? And honestly, for me, I'm just trying to do my job. So, obviously, Shawnee was having a hard time. All the JMods were having a hard time initially. It's hard to comment on stuff like this because what can really be said that isn't just putting more fuel on the fire?
Exactly. Like, people who think that JMod's responding to this when people are most angry would do anything, it's like, it's not how it works.
Yeah.
People responding to stuff like this generally just makes the mob even angrier. Unless the JMods can respond by, you know what, you're all right. Treasure Hunter's going away right now. Woo! Look at that.
Unless they can tell us that.
And even if Jagex removed Treasure Hunter tomorrow, I would give it 3 months until there was some other uproar on the subreddit that was complaining about how JMods don't listen to us.
I guarantee you, if Treasure Hunter was removed, top of freaking Reddit would be unpopular opinion. I liked Treasure Hunter.
Yeah,
because that's just how that is the duality of Reddit. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. There's always going to be a bunch of people complaining.
It would definitely be on the front page. I don't think it would be top, but it would be on the front page.
We are the perpetually enraged. I mean, we've got to have something to be upset about. If people don't have something to rage about, they're unhappy. There's got to be something there for them to do that.
The other thing is people, there was a bug with RunePass when it first came out, and Mod Shawnee, as he does literally every Monday, responded to get it fixed, and people acted like that was like, oh look, the JMods only care about MTX. They responded to this post trying to fix the bug.
Oh yeah, nice one, Pin.
Hi Swallow, thank you for the follow. Oh, nice! You finally got the Australia pet. Congrats, Pern.
Finally got Kangali. Yeah, sorry, that's why I shouted out, oh yes, and then realised, oh, I shouldn't do that into the microphone. But yeah, I got Kangali at last.
Congrats.
Yeah, he can be happy now. I probably won't be competing that much in Skill of the Month.
It's my turn to shine.
If Strength was the Skill of the Month, I could have destroyed you all. I've gotten like 50 million Strength XP this month.
No, well, the first week, Sorensen's
who's
wiped
cheating
the board with everyone. But, yeah, he's going on holidays, so he's going to fall behind.
All right, let's see here. Where was I? Yeah, so
okay,
JMods.
Shawnee, it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's impossible for JMods to answer sentiment posts, especially when people are angry. And trying to answer people's anger really doesn't solve anything. It just creates an angry dialogue, which solves nothing. We saw complaints in the month ahead, the dev blog. Why did we still launch it? Why don't we poll it? Ultimately, if we're trying to test something, it's not going to pass a poll, even if we put a threshold on it, because people do not have the context of what it is and what we're trying to do, even from the dev blog. Why didn't you just not launch it? That's a valid question. We honestly believe we had to get RunePass into people's hands for them to understand what we were trying to do. Sometimes we have to do things like this because we genuinely feel like it's for the benefit of the longevity of the game. And I applaud them for that.
Polling this wouldn't have gone anywhere at all. Like, it would have been 90% no, and it would have been downvote brigaded by the old school community and everything. Like, there's no way to poll an update like this. It's never going to win. So yeah, I completely understand why I didn't do that. And also, like, it's funny because you and I, like, before this stream, and even like over the weekend, I was like, I'm really afraid RunePass is going to be canceled because this outrage is ridiculous. And then, like, when Tuesday's stream was coming, I was like, Jax is totally going to walk back RunePass completely on this stream. Like, I just had a feeling that's what they were going to do. And I'm happy they didn't, because I think RunePass is good for the future of the game.
I was confident enough that seeing how many upvotes there were on every MTX post, that it's really only like 300 to 500 like annoying people who are doing this.
Old school.
Yeah, a post getting that much upvoted on the RS subreddit is huge, though. Like most posts on the RS subreddit only get over 100 votes. There's like a million MTX votes.
I'm not diminishing it.
Plus.
I'm just saying it was clearly inflated by the old school RuneScape community.
I don't think we have proof of that.
We don't have proof of it. I'm just spitting conjecture. I think
conspiracy theory, but I'm not normally a conspiracy theorist, but I would totally agree with.
There's literally like three
old school jump on and do that.
There's like 3 different posts on Reddit that are on the front page that are from old school RuneScapers that have the same amount of upvotes. That's why I feel that way. But yeah, it's just a feeling. I feel like.
I mean, there's a lot of people who play both games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Like I don't know. I mean, I have a similar feeling that there were some upvotes there, but I think we're kind of underestimating the hate that microtransactions has in the community a bit. And I mean, in some ways, valid. Like we have said they're not as bad as what they could be. But obviously, like if this is your first episode of RuneScape Weekly, you don't know this. But if you go back and listen to the archives, like Magebit and I fucking hate MTX. Like we complain about it nonstop. But we also know its existence is needed.
Yeah.
Well, DX just hates MTX. There's no nuance there to DX's opinion on it. I don't think it's just pure hatred. But DX is still here.
Yeah,
if
but I
won't
won't go to the Reddit forum and just troll the shit out of Jagex. That's their decision, and
that's valid.
I've got to live with it.
That's valid.
That's good.
I mean, I'm not trying to like fire you. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, my interpretation of yours is that you don't want MTX at all, no matter like where it falls. Which everyone's welcome to their own opinion.
And there's definitely a camp of people that feel like that. And I was there. At one point in time, I used to be there. I've softened my opinion over the years as I've been given more information, and I've had to broaden my understanding of where the gaming community is in the industry as a whole.
So you heard it here. Jagex has whittled down.
I've been brainwashed.
Your willingness. Yep, you've been brainwashed by Jagex's slow increase of MTX over the past 5 years. Pretty
much, yeah. So it says here, we didn't anticipate RunePass would be the focus of the devlog. I don't think we communicated properly what our aims were. We didn't include the lack of promos for a week and that we want to move our aims away from power and frequency, which is suspect as hell. Like, why wouldn't you include those 2 things? That seems like the only 2 things that you could include that would possibly quell anger. Why would you not include those things?
I don't think they expected the community to understand that was the purpose of this.
That's asking a lot of the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I mean, I guess. If that's just, I don't know. Just I've seen the pattern of the RuneScape community so many times before that like. How could you ever expect them to react accordingly to this or appropriately? Because they never act appropriately to these types of things. I'm not saying that...
They mentioned that the promos aren't going to be for a week. That's going to cause the rage. Because really, they should just not do promos while this thing's active.
I think that they shouldn't. I agree with you. The fact that they only did the first week is... It's better than...
That's probably why they didn't mention that.
It's better, honestly, than running a promo on both weeks, at least, Can you imagine if they just decided to run promos the entire time anyway? I mean, the fact that they at least cut promos for 1 week shows that they wanted to get the data of not having a promo running alongside RunePass.
You reckon they're gonna run another promo next week, despite the fact that they have just been obliterated on Reddit the whole bloody week?
Yes, they are, because they have to. It's in their release schedule to do so.
It's in their constitution.
But I think they have the data that shows them that they can run this type of promo again and be safely. I don't know where the word "safely" came from, but they can rest assured that running this promo isn't going to lose them a buttload of money because they didn't run a treasure hunter promo alongside it. And I think that is useful information, and it's going to benefit the players in the long run. This is a step in the right direction overall. It says we're getting better. We're going to get better at communication about microtransactions. We don't want to have a two-way dialogue, and that's important to have. Did they We don't want to have a two-way
No,
dialogue?
we don't have it.
Oh, so we don't have a
two-way
dialogue. Yeah, we don't have a two-way dialogue, and that's important to have. You can tell I need a break from reading. Part of the problem is people don't feel listened to, and when they do, it's just a devlog post. Contact Mod Osborne on Twitter, and post constructive feedback on Reddit. The opportunities that RunePass brings are huge. I'm so passionate about RunePass, I don't care if this kills all the goodwill I've built up. I genuinely want to be in a position in the future whereby we can say, I'm glad there are so many different ways I can achieve progress in the game outside of XP, and that we pulled back a little bit on XP. And of course, they're referring to promotionals, not necessarily like progress in game, but just this is a way you can do a microtransaction and not just feel nickeled and dimed, which I think is, you know, a step in the right direction. What if we had a stream to explain it all with gameplay section before launching it? There's an argument for that, of course. A lot of players are basing their arguments on that it's not a test and that it's here to stay permanently. RunePass is a version of what it could be. There's plenty of other stuff they can do with it. It could be way more than what it currently is. This is a test. Whether or not you want to believe that or not is, you know, on you, really. But it had to be tested, I guess. And I don't know. I like it. I'm glad. I'm personally glad that they tested it. There's Dailyscape argument, of course. Why are there daily tasks? A lot of people equate temporary content with Dailyscape, but they are separate. If I feel like I've... Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay. If I feel like I've had to have been engaging with content every single day of a month, that's Dailyscape. With this, a more... so in final version, if you come in late, you'll have a stockpile of retroactive challenges to make it much easier to plow through tiers. So...
They didn't make that obvious.
They didn't make it obvious, but it is true.
They literally say it in the announcement for this. I don't know how they could have made it more obvious.
I didn't...
just somewhere in game, I suppose.
I don't know. I was a little iffy on that day. Weren't we trying to figure that out day one? Like, you asked me to...
You decided to test it. I was confident it was a thing. Like, it literally says...
Oh, okay.
Not sure about buying RunePass immediately? You can purchase it at any time during the event and will immediately receive all rewards from up to the golden track to your current tier. You also get the opportunity to complete any missed daily tasks, so you can catch up and get as many rewards as possible.
So with this, more so in the final version, if you come in late, you can just complete them. And I think that's a good thing, and that kind of eliminates the Dailyscape argument.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing you have to do daily is earn 360k XP. It's the Dailyscape argument. It's such bullshit. I don't know how many Reddit posts. There was one Reddit post that said it would take over 12 hours a day to complete RunePass. There was another Reddit post that said it's impossible to complete RunePass. Like people were basically not doing their math properly, and then like getting hundreds of upvotes. I went into the comments and tried to give out the right information and literally got downvoted. And I had screenshots to prove I was right. And I'm getting downvoted for providing truthful information.
What's the actual math? Like how much?
We'll get there.
Play a day?
I have it.
We'll get there.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
We got a whole section dedicated to that coming up. So let's see here. Some of the tasks we purposefully made passive, like XP gain. We are not going to stop doing temporary content. We are still going to do holiday events. Some things encourage you to come into play. If you want everything we do ever to be permanent, that's just not going to happen. We got the skew a bit wrong towards the end of last year with lots of temporary content in succession, but you know they're working to balance that this time around.
I don't agree. Give me more temporary content in succession.
I don't mind it either, but I
hate the argument against it. Like, if I would rather have a temporary event every week than a treasure hunter promo every week. Like, seriously, Jagex, do it. Anyways.
So that is pretty much your wrap-up of RunePass. Part 2 here. We'll be back to RunePass in a minute, but we're going to quickly cover Elite Dungeons 2 Dragonkin Laboratory. If you'd like to take over. I'm going to quickly also just go check on my grandmother, so I'll be BRB, but feel free to continue on.
No worries. Also, we are looking at Elite Dungeons 2, the Dragonkin Laboratory. The bugs from the first dungeon run through the whole Elite Dungeon system, so these bugs should not happen again. Due out the end of July. We know the grouping system is a nightmare. The bosses will use the new dragon animations and models. In future, all of the old dragons will use the new ones. The existing ones are from 2009.
And if you didn't watch the stream, the new dragons are, oh my god, they're so good looking. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I didn't actually. I haven't actually watched the stream. They haven't put it up on YouTube yet.
Oh yeah,
They normally have it up a day or two after, but they haven't actually put it up yet. Or they might have got up today. I haven't checked today, but yeah, it was really disappointing because I wanted to watch it yesterday.
you can watch the VODs on Twitch though, if you know.
Yeah, I know, but because I like to when I'm out just doing my housework and cleaning and ironing and such, or not doing the ironing anymore because of my back, but I like to yeah just chuck it on then. But yeah, I was sort of
You can do that
disappointed
with
about
Twitch.
that.
I don't know what I
No,
guess
my
I don't know
TV,
what
no, my TV doesn't stream Twitch.
Oh, I see what your problem is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
it's my TV itself. So yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, sorry. 2 lore books with 22 pages again. Bring telegrab runes and don't complain you can't reach them because you have a spell for that. Yeah, I think I've got about 14 pages of the last book. I think 22 seems to be a lot of pages to have to get my quest cape back again. So I still don't have that.
And you still gotta get you guys also get the drops from the bosses as well to get Master Quest Cape back, I think, right?
Yeah, but I can do it in story mode if I want to, but it's just going through.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't realize for a long time that telegrab was how you're supposed to get some of those pages, but I honestly think that's awesome. Like, I get why people missed it because telegrab isn't something that's been usable in the game for like a long ass time, but it's really cool that Elite Dungeons made it useful.
I think I've used telegrab twice in 2 quests that it was required for. That's the only time I've ever used it.
It was totally a thing, like back like 2006 to like 2009. It was a thing you'd see in quests and shit like that. But
When I
basically gone away.
When I first came into RuneScape, like back in 2001, the 2 coolest things in the world that I could not wait to unlock was telekinetic grab and high alchemy. Those 2 things just sounded so effing cool. What? I just remember being like, the second I can finally telegrab the money from Varric's Bank's vault, I will be rich. And then I found out that it was a 2 GP spawn, and I was not happy.
That's funny. But yeah,
Pern,
I mean,
just for the record, Pern, you can actually watch that dev Q&A. It's at Elite Dungeons 2 and Summer Beach Party. That's what it's titled on RuneScape's YouTube page.
So it's up there now, is it? Okay, good.
It went up on the 4th.
No, it wasn't there yesterday. It was yesterday morning. Anyway,
according to the YouTube page, they put it online on the 4th. Oh, never mind.
Anyway, moving on. The system is the same as Amanishi, so we'll have a story mode, group sizes, chests, etc., all the same. One of the off crit paths is spider related.
Yeah, so this is kind of the cool thing that Amanishi doesn't have. There's going to be like there's going to be rushing paths, but there's also going to be branching paths that you don't have to do if you're not rushing through it.
Cool.
Okay.
Which is cool.
The entrances use the world map. There's a thing of the world map. It's a safe zone in the wildy, looking to make it enterable from the wilderness only out of combat to prevent easy escapes from a PvP situation.
So for anybody wondering where it is, it's in like the northeast, right below the volcano, like all the way up at the end. There's a little island that sits right below the volcano. So
yeah, if you do your criminal bolts, you'll be familiar with
right up there.
Yeah, you'll be familiar with that tree out there.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Planning to do a tally tab there, like with Amanishi, so that's okay.
Yeah.
And is it going to? Did they say it's going to be safe zone? So
yeah.
The island will be safe.
You won't get killed. Okay.
Skillers, prepare yourselves. These teleport tabs are gonna fetch a pretty penny because that's the easiest way to get there beyond the grouping system.
Will they? Because the boss portal exists, so people will just do that.
Possible, yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Do enough people have boss portals that it would impact the price?
No, but people who set the economic value of things do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, economic value is generally not actually set on the real supply and demand in any sense ever, but also it's in RuneScape. Like, what's valuable is what rich players want for the most part.
That's why party hats are valuable.
And the other thing is, I suppose, the rich players don't care about swapping their portals every time.
No, I used to. I don't anymore. The 100K used to hurt every time. Now I'm just like, tickles.
There as far as the positioning goes for this dragon, this new dragon spot in the Wildy, they've actually copied it from old school, where it's actually known as the Fountain of Rune in old school RuneScape.
Ooh, I like that. The Fountain of Rune.
How's it copied?
That's exactly where it's located.
But that location has always been there.
No, they copied it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they put in a different.
Fun fact: they copied the entire world map. Those bastards.
Fun fact: all of RuneScape 3 is a copy of old school RuneScape. Sorry.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Be able to use the grouping system to get there, and will be tested extensively to make sure it's not PvP abusable.
No, I can't wait.
We are going to take responsibility for every single lure. Don't be idiots.
I love
Don't
that.
follow someone out into the wilderness and drop your items.
Do you know they could have completely avoided this problem by just putting this dungeon in Infernus instead? Like, you didn't need to create a completely new economy for scammers and whatnot, but you did.
The thing is, it's not gonna be, because, like, no one's going to run to it. Everyone's going to teletap or group to it. And
I am so looking forward.
They're going to make the gate one way, so there's not going to be a way to, like, lure people from there into the Wildy.
Oh, they're making the
you
gate
sure?
one way too, aren't they?
Is that a guarantee? Like, you've backup to? They said that
on the stream that they were. I don't think they said they were definitely going to, but they said the gate is probably going to be one way, and I don't see why they wouldn't make it one way, because if they don't, then yeah, it'll be a luring issue. But the biggest way to solve that, make the gate one way, problem solved.
That would be nice.
Also, if you don't make, well, I guess no, never mind. The switches are up there, so not making it one way wouldn't lessen the wilderness running. I mean, like, I kind of agree that they could have put it somewhere else, and I kind of complained about this at first. But with all the teleports they're giving you, like, it makes it feel like less of a problem, and it is cool to see more stuff happening in the Wildy.
If it's in a safe zone of the wilderness, you teleport there and it is a safe zone, I have no issue with it whatsoever.
At the same time, though, I will probably not play this directly at launch. I'm probably going to wait like 6 hours to make sure that no one dies out there. Not gonna lie.
I'll be doing it a couple of days later.
All I know is I got killed by a boss when I wasn't anywhere near the boss arena in the first one, so I'm not going to guarantee myself that there won't be a way to PK me inside the arena somehow. So I'm
like through the fence, you'll be able to stand outside the fence and shoot in or something.
Yes. You got someone's got the that hellfire bow that's in there, and that they forgot to block that, and it just wipes everyone out.
Someone runs out of the dungeon and like a giant purple blob is still following them, and it does AoE damage to just everyone outside. That'll be good.
That'll be funny. The rewards, the full T92 Tectonic. We didn't want to release all the pieces from one piece of content like Nex, 3 armor sets plus weapons, Talos 3 T92 weapons, and Araxor 3 T90 weapons. I've been defending my original position, but now I'm fed up of it.
It's like, I give up.
No, I think that's a misquote, because like it doesn't fully make it make sense. I believe Mod Orion originally wanted to release all Tier 92 in one dungeon and then another set in the other, but got pushed back from the Combat Council, so he changed it, and basically now he's changing it back, which I don't fully agree with. I didn't mind having sets split up, and I don't really get making this change. Like, once again, Jagex is kind of listening to the community too much. I think it was actually a good design choice to have these armor sets split up like they did, but whatever.
Yeah, because that's right, because they were going to have the head and boots from the first, and the gloves and
from the one in August,
from the second, and then the
I think the head and boots of Serenic were gonna be in the first one, then the head and not boots, head and legs were gonna be in the first. They were gonna put both sets of head and legs in the first and second one, and the third one's gonna have the chest piece.
Yes, that's
for both of them. So, but
question.
Now instead it'll cost 300,000 Dungeoneering tokens to buy.
Is this supposed to be markedly more difficult or on par difficulty-wise with the first one? Are these iteratively harder?
All the same.
Okay.
They said they were all going to be basically about the same.
Which, see, I only ask because the first one, it drops, what, like a tier 80-something weapon as, like, its main... What does the first one drop from Siryu? What's Siryu's big drop? The scales?
The scales.
The scales.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a cosmetic weapon as well, isn't there?
No, there's a tier 82 spear that is a halberd that comes from the second boss.
Yeah, okay. Just getting my facts straight. All right,
Yeah.
continue.
Okay. T92 Serenic Chest will be added to Amanishi either in the coming week or the week after. So they are actually going to add the chest now to the first dungeon. The premise of the chest drop was going to be a token drop from the third boss of the third dungeon. You need the scales, like the legs and helm, but you also need the additional tokens on top of that to keep the rarity of it and not just buy out scales. Chest piece is the strongest piece in the Naura set. About 2 hours ago, we decided we're just going to add the token to the DG shop.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of hate it not being a drop now, and I kind of hate that they're walking some of this back a bit. But I mean,
anything locked
I guess
behind
having a
dungeoneering
dungeoneering token stink is kind of a good idea, but I don't know.
I hate anything locked behind dungeoneering tokens. The fact that the dungeons give tokens is a little bit of a
it's going to be
grace.
tradable, so you'll be able to buy it.
Yeah.
This is another update they've done too. The Elite Dungeon outfit will be released alongside Elite Dungeon 2 update.
Woot woot.
Now, when Elite Dungeon 1 was out, they said they were trying to push it to have it released with the third one. So they've pulled that forward to the second one. So there you go. There's another treasure hunter item coming into earnable.
I have been wanting to keepsake the warped floor set of that armor for so long. It looks so cool. And I just have not been able to get a hold of it because it's treasure hunter bullcrap. So I'm really happy to see that.
I mean, this is nice if they're doing this. It totally should have been in Dungeon 1, and I think
Agreed.
they even admitted that on stream. The fact they didn't put in Dungeon 1 was a mistake, and basically Mod Osborne apparently just overrode everybody else's decision just to force it to come out in 2 because there was some pushback for it. Obviously, people see this as like a distraction against the real MTX issue or some shit. But I really think it's just Jagex realizing that they made a mistake and fixed it.
Yeah, I would agree. You can continue on if you'd like.
Complete dungeoneering floors or elite dungeons for scraps similar to other elite outfit fragments, probably at an increased rate for the elite dungeons. Elite Dungeons 1 would have been the best time to release the outfit, as Hana was just saying then. We would have 2 elite outfits left, Woodcutter and Hunter. We are not giving a time frame. Overgrown Idols didn't feel right for woodcutting due to its size.
See, this is something I also don't understand.
Hi, Dick.
Is Jagex seems to want some big update for these outfits to come out with, and I just don't support that idea. First of all, these are mid-level skilling outfits, so I think idols would have been perfect for the woodcutting outfit. But even beyond that, it's not like Elite Dungeons 2. It's going to be how you earn the outfit. It's going to be one of the ways you earn the outfit, right? So why act like it's tied to that release when really it's they already have the generic system of how elite outfits work, and I like it. You gain fragments, so it's a pretty good system. But I don't know, it's a little strange how much they hold on to this idea that we need a big skilling update to release the outfit. If it's a new outfit, it makes sense, but getting them off a treasure hunter, just get them off a treasure hunter, guys.
Just write a nice little quest and bring it in as you get the blueprint as a reward from the quest and just go.
Bottle quests.
Well, I don't think they want to lock the blueprint behind any rewards. And I think that's fair. They're not actually locking it behind Elite Dungeons 2. It's going to work like every other outfit.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
They want
have
a namesake
nice
to put it
quest.
on.
Yeah. You have a nice novice woodcutting quest. It's not going to take too long to do, but you get your blueprint and then off you go. But anyway, some rewards that permanently upgrade your character in a way. So we are going to see some permanent upgrades. A dedicated lucky charm for the dungeon. So, what was that one about?
What? I have no idea.
Trying to steal my Lucky Charms?
I was going to make the same joke, but
I got no idea.
Okay. No boss pets. After the first Elite Dungeon, we want them to be more than just reskins and copy-paste. So if we have time in the future to do them properly, we will. We can't just resize Astalan for the pet because it's too high poly. Something we want to do because an Astalan pet would look incredible.
Hells yeah.
that was an interesting look into, and it made sense, but it's something I never really thought about before. But you can't just scale down a high-res boss model because people complain about how much lag but people complain about how much lag a dragon gives you. But if you scaled down a super high poly boss and then 100 people had that boss pet out, like that would have caused a real lag.
Yeah, just scaling polys down doesn't necessarily make them take up less resources. It makes them take up some less resources, but they still have to load all those polys when they could just be removed. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be cool if you could have that high poly of stuff as a pet.
Oh, sure. If Jagex starts handing out supercomputers to everyone, I love that. All right.
I don't even know if a supercomputer would do it. My computer, your computer would probably still get lag World 2 Berthorpe at reset because
I'm
there's
flattered
just so much shit going on.
That you like to equate my computer with a supercomputer, but Jagex, yeah, it's an optimization thing, obviously. When it comes down to the push comes to shove, you could have 8 graphics cards and it would probably still lag because it's not optimized to run.
It's an engine limitation. Really, is probably what we'd have to get off of like Java on the back end, and then maybe that would help it some.
I think they should upgrade to .NET framework. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Boss difficulty should be the same as the first dungeon. Hex Hunter should work on Sirius, so we will take a look at that. It might work on Astalan, we have to check. So it sounds like obviously a question maybe was put out there. Hex Hunter might not be working on the boss.
Yeah, Hex Hunter's not working, but they want to fix it, which is cool.
Yep. You can't take the Hellfire Bow inside, but you can sure kill all the players outside with it.
This is disappointing, but Mono Ryan did say he's going to see if he can make this work.
As he was talking about it, though, like, I could see the gears turning in his head, and he was just like, this isn't going to work. Why am I saying this?
Well, that's not true. I think you're conflating. The QA guy there was saying it will never work, but Mono Ryan really liked the idea. So I think there's a chance that I don't think this will happen at launch, but there's a chance that in like 6 months you'd be able to take the Hellfire Bow inside, which would be super cool.
Which that would be because it gives people a reason to go and find that in the wilderness, and it'll have. I mean, there's your PKing side of things where people are going to all try and get that bow to take in. Someone's going to be sort of geared up to go into there because they're grabbing the Hellfire Bow to run into the dungeons.
Yeah, the biggest thing is it wasn't designed. The biggest thing is that it wasn't designed to ever leave the wildies, so exactly. That's where that problem comes from.
It would be really cool though if like there was like a special achievement you could get for like bringing the Hellfire Bow in and like completing the dungeon with the Hellfire Bow. That would be really cool to have like a special title. You could be like Magebit the Hellion or something, the Hellfire. I don't know. Anyway,
that'd be very interesting. Anyway, dungeon mobs will include spiders, black dragons, gemstone dragons, celestial dragons, lava strikeworms. New NPCs, which won't be made into a Slayer task, only about 16 of them in a dungeon. Dragon Slayer, Dragon Bane, Dragon Trinkets, not the insta-kill will work.
Thoughts?
On lava strikeworms in there, lava.
Yeah, what I'm wondering here is, so there's probably nothing stopping you from killing all the lava strikeworms in the dungeon, going out, resetting the dungeon, going back in, and killing all the lava strikeworms.
Lava strikeworms will probably respawn just like the other Slayer creatures do in the other dungeon.
Okay, I didn't realize that monsters respawned in the other dungeon.
Yeah, remember the water fiends in Dungeon 1?
Yes, the water fiends, I remember. Yeah, okay. If they're considered just regular NPCs, then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm a dum-dum.
Be camping there for my lava strike.
I'll actually do lava strikeworms tasks. I've never done one.
I will unlock them from my from blocking because I love lava strikeworms because I like making my potions, but I blocked them once I got that soul because they just caused me so much grief and misery.
Fair.
Astalan, there's obviously the pictures there of the Astalan, the first celestial dragon. He will have 550,000 KXP. And they show the arena as well. All dragons will use the new animations in the future, and I believe you guys got to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything is beautiful.
They sound really good. Yeah.
I love the look of this dungeon.
I will be watching that tomorrow. Where am I? Attack animations include claw left, claw right, bite, tail whip left, tail whip right, and a breath attack. They will give Slayer XP for the Celestial Dragon tasks. So if you do the Celestial Dragons in there, you will get XP for Slayer from them. So that is very good. I like it when they do things like that.
Me too.
We'll drop a melee ability, a Mutator Cotex, like Mutator Dazing Shot, will not have a stacking effect. So we're getting a new melee ability from this as well.
Yep.
What do we
It
think
sounds
of
like this dungeon might actually be useful. Like melee might actually work here. I'm tentatively excited. I'm so bored with Magescape that getting away from it would be awesome.
Well, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what I mean. We've got 3 dungeons, so wouldn't we? Like the first one was basically mage is the best way to do it.
Yep.
Make this one melee. Make the next one range is the best.
That
way
would
to
be
do
really
it.
nice.
Totally
That would
agree.
be
Although
awesome.
thematically speaking, the first one should have been range. The second one should be magic, and the third one should be I don't know what, because we're not going to get tier 92 malevolent, thankfully. But yeah,
I would love to see them. Oh, we just got 21 rune plate bodies. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry, where am I up to? I've just dropped that down because I was on the wrong thing. Virak Lith is KBD's older brother. He will have 600,000 HP. Strictly speaking, not really his older brother. New particles and animations. Even his walk animation has been redone. The fight will be a lot different to the KBD. KBD will at some point be updated as a variation to this model and animations.
people, look, I want to say something. People, every single video game company in the history of time reuses assets. Stop acting like having multiple uses for an asset is a bad thing. You can literally not find a game anywhere. Well, it's just people in chat lost their mind when they're like, oh, this is just a copy of the KBD model, and then like, oh, you're gonna put this back on the KBD, and it's not a copy, it's completely updated. But then they're like, oh, you're just gonna place this on the KBD instead of making a new model. Like that is how game development has always worked. You do not make a different model for literally everything you make.
That would be a huge waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's gigantic waste of time. Like, there is no video game in the existence of time that has ever done that. I shouldn't say none. There's probably some tiny indie game that does
you're gonna actually.
So yeah, you could easily but it is standard business practice, like for any game out there to do this, except for some weird niche project that I'm sure you could find.
Yeah,
indeed.
I don't understand why they find it necessary to apologize all the time for these things. If you want to see have a tour of the dungeon, go to 51 minutes and 20 seconds into the video for that. They also show the second boss arena. It will be 4 map squares. The fight is designed around how big the area is.
Oh, the new lava, by the way, also. God, I hope they put that in the rest of the game. The new lava looks so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Awesome. They said that this will hopefully be the new use for lava. Hopefully we see a rework of current lava places.
They said they'll have to roll it out because
like
to get it to actually match right. You can't just like swap in new lava texture, put it everywhere.
It'd be nice if that's how it worked, wouldn't it? Anyway, I mean
that's how they used to work. That's how like old school and shit works. But like RuneScape 3 has moved to being like way more in depth and having way more variety.
Yeah.
Let's look. Anyways,
want me to pick up on the beach?
So moving on. Yep, we've got the beach. Well, that's
you can do a quick. Yeah, we'll do a quick rundown since we already talked about the beach in the month ahead. But it's 4 weeks long. It's going to be the same as last year. There's a new event called Face in a Hole, which will allow you to take a new forum picture with. Previous rewards are still obtainable in the ways previous have been made available. Titles will return. There's a Gobi backpack, beach attire Gobi pet. Oh, DX, you're getting lots of Gobi stuff in here. There's a new rest animation, a new walk animation, new armor, new weapons and overrides, new head overrides that look like hairstyles but aren't hairstyles. That's interesting. So the beach will, of course, be back, and it sounds like it's going to have some new stuff and the old stuff that you'd expect.
The funniest reaction I saw to the head overrides is apparently Jagex is adding them as head overrides instead of hairstyle, so that you have to use keepsake keys on them. But the funny thing is, an override means it will be automatically put into the keepsake box. You won't have to use a key on it. So that argument is moot as hell. I guess it could prove me wrong, but the word override in the game generally means it's a, you know, it goes into that override interface.
Generally, yeah.
But people want to have their conspiracy theories, so
Well, we'll find out. They also revealed the RuneFest theme to be Fremnik,
Yep.
which I hope that comes with a graphical rework of the Fremnik area.
it won't.
Because it's like, they're just like, hey, let's have a huge festival tied around this area that looks like it was last updated 8 years ago. What?
Well, I mean, the game RuneFest is shared between both games, so that's why they pick areas like that.
I suppose.
Old
Yeah.
School is also there. I don't think we've ever had a RS themed, RS specifically themed.
Just wait, in 2020,
RuneFest.
if the haters have their way, it will be themed, the RuneFest will be themed after, like, Theater of Blood or something, like, old school. RuneScape 3 won't even be mentioned. Anyway.
Yeah, that'll happen about 2 months after microtransactions get added to Old School.
This is a conspiracy I want to bring up. I was going to bring it up on the pre-show because it is a conspiracy theory and holds no weight whatsoever. But since we're in between topics, I'll bring it up right here, and then we can jump back into our discussion about RunePass in depth here. But there was a post from a journalist from Bloomberg Business Week. You may be aware of that magazine. They were looking for opinions on microtransactions and players' sentiments in regards to microtransactions. And they said in one of the lines that they were curious to know everyone's opinions on the current, sentiment of microtransactions, both in RuneScape 3 and people's thoughts on the upcoming experiments that will be taking place in old school RuneScape. And somebody quoted that and was like, excuse me, what? And they deleted that line within 2 minutes of the original thread being posted. And that was there. They did post that. They did remove that. I went in and found the archive of it. It's just like, was that a understanding of the information because it's just a journalist who's never played the game before? Or is something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about?
It's 100% just a misprint from a journalist. Like, Jagex would never, like, if a journalist actually had that info, that's what they would be writing an article about, because that would be a huge scoop.
Right?
Like, that would be major news. A journalist isn't going to hide that info. Like, that's not what journalists do. Journalists do literally the opposite. You give them a huge scoop like that, they write about it. So
Yeah.
like, that's what their job is. So, yeah. I like the conspiracy theory, but
Well said.
They've got bonds over in old school, so they've already technically got
There,
got
it's-
into
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
let's just
They
add the
do.
rest of it too.
And the rage that some of the old school players have about bonds is real. People get pissed about the fact that bonds
Do
exist
they?
in that game. Yep.
I thought they all wanted it. I thought they were all.
I mean, it
screaming
won
for
the poll, but not everybody won it. Like, there's some microtransaction purists out there, but I think people don't really like.
Just a few.
Bonds are like the most needed thing in any MMO to this day because of the damage it does to real world trading. Like, it's funny because people's argument against bonds is it's basically like real world trading. And if you think that bonds not existing means real world trading doesn't happen, you're just naive as fuck. Because like, people real world trade with or without bonds. The thing that bonds does is it makes it harder for people to make a profit real world trading, and that is a good thing for your economy. And it lets the company that makes the product get the money from real world trading instead of a third party. And both of those
Which can be
things
invested back
good.
into the company.
Yep. Like this ideal world where you can have zero real world trading in a game doesn't exist. Like, I remember 2006 and 2007. Like, and I remember even today, like, real world trading is still rampant. Like, the duel arena is just a place that breeds real world trading. Like, thinking that it's not going to happen is just naive as hell. Anyways,
It's funny. I hadn't seen one for a while, but I got one of the messages to buy gold the other day, and I remember when I first started the game, you used to get them all the time.
Oh,
and it was
God.
like,
Right?
yeah, it was like 10 mil, and it cost you like $30 or something like that. Now it's like, yeah, get 100 mil for $3.
we get as RuneScape Weekly, we get like an email like once a month being like, "Hey, will you advertise our trading site on your podcast?" Like,
Wow.
yeah.
So when you hear that advertisement, you know I've sold out, and I just need I need the money, and it's just being shut down. The show is that's when you can tune out when you hear me start advertising. That type of stuff.
That's it.
Speaking of advertising, before we get into our next set of topics here and talk about RunePass again, do want to mention real quick, if you enjoy the show and want to support what we do here, you can go to patreon.com/RuneScape and you can support the show. Any pledge at all will get you access to the pre-shows. There are different tiers as well with different rewards. You can check them out at patreon.com/RuneScape. Thank you for your support. Good.
Go give us money so the Magebit never has to accept railroad trading offers.
Yes.
One other thing I do want to mention as well, speaking of advertising, I did a Brain Farts and Thought Bubbles show a little while ago now, where I was speaking about sort of, doing all the clue scrolls and things I wanted. And one of the things I mentioned was using Dave's spellbook. So you can, either use the teletabs from your bank or charge it up with the teletabs and just hold that in your bank. So rather than having to have the 4 different or 5 different teletabs, coming this month from the Ninjas, updating Evil Dave's spellbook so it can hold up to 1,000 chip teleport tablets.
Oh, sweet! That's a lot of teletabs.
That is, so yeah, you'll be able to load those in there. So that comes from one of my videos from 2 weeks ago that I mentioned that. So good to see they're taking another one of my ideas on top of my.
I think we missed the ninja part of the TL of the.
We did, yeah. I had that highlighted, and yeah.
If you want to run through it, we can. I don't have it in front of me though.
No, just because we sort of stopped it after the account security week.
Well,
so
it's not
we
much.
Yeah, it was only the Stormboard game card outfit. And
I saw.
No,
and then the ninjas after that. There was just 3 things in there.
Yeah, clan broadcasts to celebrate achievements from other clan members. About time. Displaying summoning points at 990 instead of 99. I guess that's a change that matters. But yeah, the clan broadcast change is the most exciting one, I think. Although obviously Pyrnassius super stoked for them teletabs.
Yeah, I like that
because the future.
Well, no, just basically because if you do a lot of clues, just trying to fill up your inventory with everything, that is just going to make life a lot easier.
All right. Well.
Okay.
We might as well skip reading actually the details about RunePass. I meant to put that before the TLDW, but it somehow didn't end up there, so there's no point in going there because we've already talked about the basics of RunePass.
Mm-hmm.
So the next topic here is RunePass. Is it worth it? As we've talked about a lot during the show, there's a lot of misinformation out there about RunePass. There's people claiming that it's literally impossible to do. There's people claiming that it would take 10 to 12 hours a day to do. Basically, all of that is false. So I have a breakdown here of what it would take to complete RunePass. And I do want to say before I start this, if anybody wants to see the breakdowns I did, you can just hit me up on our Discord at, what's the new URL, Magebit?
RuneScape.chat.
There you go. RuneScape.chat will get you into the Discord, and you can hit me up and I can send you a link to these documents if you want to see the full in-depthness of them and review it. But anyway, so free RunePass. Basically, how many points do you need to complete the free RunePass? You need 180 points because there's 30 tiers total, but only 18 tiers have free rewards. So you only need to get to level 18 at the free level to get everything you want. To get those points, you would need to do the 2 weekly missions, which are 25 points each. So that's 50 points. The weekly missions this week's was 5 Slayer tasks. So that's like 2 hours worth of work maximum, I would say, to get that done. The daily XP missions. There are 5 different daily XP missions you can do: a 10k, a 100k, a 250k, a 1 mil, and a 5 mil. The 5 mil, I believe, is also infinitely repeatable.
Yes.
But to actually the only amount of daily XP you would have to earn is you would have to, for the entire 14 days, earn 360k total. So you need to basically do the 10k task, the 100k task, and the 250k task. And then 2 days, you would have to do a 1 mil task. So that would equal out to, with those two together, is 132 points. You add that on top of the 50 that you gain from the weekly missions, and you're at 180 points. So daily XP, to get 360k XP in the game, like, you don't have to change your playstyle at all. Like, people complaining that this thing is all super dailyscape heavy, it's really not. Like, daily XP mission is super simple to do. Like, basically play the game however you want, or if you want to min-max it, you know, go AFK Abyssal Demons and get it super fast, something like that. Or even like Shattered Worlds, that thing, you can get like insane XP there, so you can do it even faster there. So like, basically, the dailyscape argument really doesn't matter. It's like half an hour of dailyscape a day, and then for 2 of those days you have to throw in another hour to get the million XP, or another 2 hours, depending. You know, I guess it might take a bit longer to get the mil XP depending on how you're doing it. But basically, dailyscape non-existent in this, and also, you know, not that much time commitment to get into unlocking this. Anyone have any comments on the free side of things?
I think. Go ahead, Pern.
Sorry. I was just saying, I'm doing the freeway, and I am up to. I think I was tier. Sorry, where am I up to? I've claimed the. Yeah, I am up to tier 10 at the moment.
And you're on the free tier.
And I'm on the free tier, yes.
I'm at tier 8. I haven't gotten over a mil XP, so you've probably gotten over a mil a couple of days, and I haven't done that, so I'm only up to 8. But yeah.
And you guys both haven't paid for it, eh?
Nope.
Nope.
Ugh, that's disappointing. I paid for it. I don't want to hate myself.
Well, why? You get like a million more rewards than I do.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just haven't been playing enough, I guess.
Oh, you haven't been doing the daily XP unlocks?
No, not to a mil. Nah.
You only need to get to 360k.
I probably haven't even been doing that.
So,
yeah, I've been doing at least a mil every day. I think I've hit the 5 mil once, and I'm closing in now on another 5 mil.
Yeah, we didn't get
on that.
But we'll transition to the paid RunePass ones. Yeah, you'll have to grind out some million plus days to get if you miss any. So basically, the way the paid RunePass works, you need 300 points total, 30 levels. So the RunePass daily missions. Once again, the RunePass daily missions, not actually daily. You just unlock 2 new ones each day, but you could wait until the last day and do all 24 of them at once if you wanted to. So once again, not adding to dailyscape, you could pick out 1 or 2 days a week and do these missions and get them all done. But that gets you, those are worth 5 points each, so that gets you 140 points total right there. The weekly missions, you do that 25 times 2, that's 50 points. So that gets you to 190 points just from those. Once again, none of that's dailyscape. Like RRman, you could easily earn 190 points at any time within the next, week, however much time it's left, like a week and a few days.
That's good to know.
Yeah, make sure you do your weekly this week before Monday reset. You want to do 5 Slayer tasks. Make sure you get that done because that's a lot of points.
Yeah, just gotta do 1 more today.
Cool. Then you'll be good there.
And that's it. I mean, there's a lot of people sort of complaining they were all racing out to do those 5 Slayer tasks on the first day, and that's like, you have an entire week. You can do 1 task a day.
And you could do it lazily too. Like if you have the Mask of Abyssal Demons, you could just do that task for 5 days in a row. And that would also get you your daily XP task. And look at that, dailyscape. It's so terrible.
And on top of that, you've also made yourself 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah, absolutely. So the daily XP missions, for the week, for the paid RunePass, you only need to do the 10k, the 100k, and the 250k. If you do those for all 14 days, that gives you 126 points. That equals your total points earned out of all those things I listed, would get you to 316. So that means that you could even miss. You could basically miss. I forget. You could miss 2 days of not getting your daily XP missions done and still be okay. You would be, I think you'd be 2 points short, so you'd have to get like a mil, but there's still time for you to catch up, RRman. Just make sure you get that daily XP mission, try to get over a mil a few times, and you can easily get caught up on it if you just put in that grind, like do some AFK Abyssal Demons or something, and you'll get caught up pretty damn fast. So yeah, all in all, super reasonable. Like
the ones in level 18 Wilderness, always free.
You could play half an hour to an hour a day and get all this stuff done, or you could play half an hour a day to do the daily XP missions and then bundle up your weekly missions and do them all at once at the end, anything like that. So calling this thing like something that forces you to, like people saying it forces you to buy the upgrade path and everything, absolutely not. This is easily achievable stuff, and obviously not everyone's going to be able to get 360k XP a day. That's fine. These events aren't supposed to be for everyone. Like that's another thing, is people think that this stuff should be completable by everybody, and I just don't agree. If you don't have the time to play the game for it, then don't buy it. Or even if you do buy it, guess what? It's still worth it because you get a legendary pet, and legendary pets are expensive as hell.
It's the only reason anyone's buying this pass anyway, don't you know?
Right. I don't know if
it doesn't.
What was that, RRman?
I was just going to say the other thing is like, as you say, you don't really even have to get to the final rank. You still unlock things as you go all the way along. You get to like 20 and you've got decent value already.
Yep, and that segues into the next thing I have here, which is the value of RunePass. So I have a breakdown of how much basically free RunePass is worth and how much paid RunePass is worth. So the way I did this is I looked at the cost of stuff on Solomon's. I looked at the cost of treasure hunter keys. I looked at the cost of, what you could infer would be the cost of loyalty points, all that stuff, to come up with a value for every reward that you get with RunePass. It is worth saying that some of these rewards are recycled. I think the skilling animations are previously used to be on Solomon's, so those aren't all new. All the cosmetics, I think, are. They released the range set of cosmetics back in January, like the Ocean. Ocean's
Archer
Bounty. Ocean's Archer set was released back in January. So like the 2 sets that are available in this event are kind of like completing out that 3-tier set.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so let's get into the RunePass item value. You get, for the free RunePass, you get 3 cosmetic weapon overrides. You get a bow, a 2-handed sword, and a staff. Looking at the value on Solomon's, those are worth 160 rune coins apiece. So right there, you're already at 480 rune coins in value for the free pass. You also get 1 skilling animation. Skilling animations, between 160 and 200 rune coins, depending on how new they are, the way it appears. I gave this one the value of 160. So there you go. You have a total value of 640 rune coins that you were getting for free. Let's say that you wanted to buy these items individually. You would have to buy 2 packages of 420 rune coins at $10.99 each. So that's basically $20 that you would have to spend if you wanted to unlock all this stuff off Solomon's. Obviously, you'd still have some rune coins left over, so it's more like $15, $16. But still, you basically get the value that you would put into the paid rune pass. They are giving you for free in the free rune pass. So, like, obviously, if you don't want the cosmetics, then you're not going to care about this stuff. But the value is there if you do like the cosmetics, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here.
Inherent value is something, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anybody have anything they want to say about the free RunePass items?
I was just going to say that before when we were talking, sort of just everyone's after that legendary pet. That's, obviously that's why Magebit bought it.
Oh yeah,
it
that's
have enough of those already, you know.
You gotta keep them coming.
Yeah, right.
I want to.
So-
I need a legendary pet for every day of the month. I want to be able to change out.
Well, what did you think of my superior legendary pet idea, where if you owned at least 5, you could unlock one where you could then set exactly what it picks up, and it wouldn't pick up neem droops. And
I would literally pay a
It would pick up-
premium.
Yeah, it would pick up the highest priced item that drops on the floor.
That I am not okay with that.
But
So
you have
you're
to own
basically
4 of them.
saying, what if you had to spend? How much is a legendary pet? Okay.
It varies,
What
but
if you had to
1,000
spend
rune coins.
$200 to get a supreme legendary pet? Like, no, thank you. But they are adding an update to legendary pets to make them pick up
Yes.
the most valuable drops. So they will fix
Exactly,
that.
and they're giving you that for free, and I was doing a one where you'd got charged for it. So you know,
Mm.
So let's
Stupid
launch in-
Jagex giving away updates for free.
What the
Hey.
fuck? How dare you not charge for everything ever made? All right. Paid RunePass items. So the first thing we have is one title. Titles are only sold for loyalty points, so titles are around 9,600 loyalty points. I figured based on getting 30k loyalty points a month, which is what you get for normal membership thereabouts, you just divide the cost of membership, which is $10.99, by 3, and that gets you to $3.66. So that's kind of what I consider the value of the title. Rune coins. When you first buy the package, as we've been saying here, you get 1 legendary pet instantly. That's an instant unlock. That legendary pet is a reskin of another pet. As we said earlier, reskins happen all the time. Stop overreacting. The pet looks gorgeous. Just because it shares some look to another pet doesn't mean it didn't take work. Like, calm
it
down,
actually
everybody.
looks better than the one that it's based on.
I don't know. I like the Tron one more myself.
I
That's me.
like the water one more. It reminds me of the water temple from Ocarina of Time. I don't know why, but it does, because that's how my brain works.
Fair enough. So 1 legendary pet, 975 rune coins. So you could literally buy RunePass, do nothing, and you would double your value instantly.
And that's where the conspiracy theories, of course, start to chime in, saying that, oh, well, of course they put a legendary pet on this just so people would buy in so they could say RunePass was successful.
And of course, as they said in the TLDR that we read earlier, they are not just considering buying it to be the one metric they use. They are also looking at people who have actually interacted with it and people who are actually doing the daily missions and stuff like that. So there isn't just one metric that they're measuring. There's conspiracy theories that like legendary pet was put there to make it look valuable and to trick people into buying it, and that
I would have bought it for the outfits alone. Those outfits
and in
are
the
gorgeous.
future,
Go ahead, Hannah.
in the future, there won't be legendary pets there, which is probably true. Not every rune pass will have a legendary pet.
They've set the standard. Legendary
rune
pet every
pass
time.
will have value.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I imagine every rune pass will have a pet. It
Yeah.
probably won't be a legendary one, but I would be surprised if almost every one of them doesn't have some kind of pet.
All
What are you
I-
gonna say, Pern?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love how it's they are tricking people into buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, were you tricked, Mage, or did you look at that and thought that's good value for me? I want that, and I'm going to
Well,
buy
I
it.
think the argument comes from, and I wasn't playing it this time, and I think some of you were, so I'd love to know if this is actually true. But when Squeal of Fortune first came out, from what I've read people saying, like it was a free thing, and they decided from the success of it that they would now let you like buy keys or whatever the equivalent, or spins as they were back then, for it, like after a week. And so people are trying to say that RunePass is basically like Squeal of Fortune was back in the day, where they made it look super good to trick you into buying it so they could say it was successful. I don't know. Is there any validity? Is that how Squeal of Fortune came out? Does anyone remember?
There was a poll, not a poll, sorry. There was a dev blog back then that equated Treasure Hunter's success to the fact that everyone used their daily key. And people went off and running with that at the time, and they're still using it to this very day, apparently. But beyond that, that was the only metric that I could that could really be considered a bad show of how people actually won. And I think is saying that people use their free keys, therefore it's successful, is like dangling a sandwich in front of starving people and saying, "Hey, look, our food is good because these people ate it." No, they were. I mean,
I mean, that's a bit extreme.
It is.
I would have to look back at that devlog and see exactly what their wording was. But I also think like the way these people were wording it, they made it sound way more insidious than that. And it's like they introduced Wheel of Fortune as a test, and then they said the test was successful because people, used their keys. And I don't know, like I'm guessing some of that has been warped by time. It's hard to tell what the truth there is. What do you want to say, Pern?
I remember correctly, it was you've got your I think it was 2 daily spins back then for a member, and the first week was free. But I think they said coming next week you'll be able to buy the spins. So they announced that you would be able to buy them right from the start, and that's when everyone was sort of screaming, buying these things, MTX and such. But yes, they did. The first week they gave everyone a free couple of keys.
Okay, but they announced up front that it was going to be paid eventually.
Yes, and what I did love is people were the free-to-play players seem to get a much higher number of the members' rewards that were on there to try and sort of get them to. That was a conspiracy that all the free-to-play players, their free keys were giving them members' items.
And that's just confirmation bias, because like the only people who are going to talk about what they got off of Treasure Hunter are people who got a members' item off
exactly.
But so that's good to hear that it happened that way. And if anyone has any more facts to shit on that, if we're missing a part of it, I'd love to hear it. I don't, like I said, I wasn't around that time, so I'm just relying on other people's perspective as to what happened. But I was guessing that the community kind of blew out of proportion what happened with Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
As they're trying to here.
Again, I'd have to go back and have a look, but I'm pretty sure we were able to buy spins. It was going to be announced, but the free ones were given to everyone first off, just to sort of give you the taste of what it was about.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, like, there is some validity to an argument that if people use their free keys, like, then there is on some level okay with microtransactions. Like, as much as I hate that because I use my free daily keys, like, there is some validity to that. I don't think it can be like a hardcore black and white line in the sand, but if you're adamant enough in hatred against microtransactions, you're never going to use the keys. And obviously, I do somewhat agree with Mage that it is preying on people's like baser instincts. Sure, but yeah, I don't know. It all depends how they worded that stuff. Like, I think a lot of times when you remember something, you kind of translate it to like its most extreme polar part, like, so you kind of forget the nuance and just leave the extreme bits, and that seems to be like what happened with the community and the Wheel of Fortune stuff. Like I said, that's just how I'm interpreting it. I could be wrong, but that's just how the human mind generally works. We forget the actual nuance of things, and we just remember this polar event.
Generally.
Anyways, anyone have anything else to say, or shall we cover the rest of the rune coin stuff?
You can cover the rest for me.
All right. So there are 2 cosmetic outfits on here that include weapons. Pricing those up, there's a lot of different value in outfits on Solomon's. They go up to 600 rune coins depending on how good they look. So guessing an exact value for this was hard. I gave them a value of 360 rune coins each. Just because I tried to lowball a lot of stuff here so as to present
this way.
To present everybody a fair reading of what it would be. I didn't want to pick the most valuable item off the store and be like, this is what it's compared to, because that wouldn't give the audience a fair reading of what the value actually is. So that's 720 rune coins total for those 2 outfits. 2 skilling animations. Those are I have them priced at 200 rune coins here. I think the pay to play skilling animations looked a little bit more intense than the free one they were giving you, so I priced them a little bit higher, but you could argue that it should be a little bit less if you want to. So 200 rune coins each, that's 400. So that brings your total rune coin value to 2,095. If you wanted to buy rune coins, enough of them to buy all these items, you would have to buy a 2,400 rune coin package for $54.99. So, you'd save, once again, you'd save a couple hundred rune coins because you're only going to spend about 2,100 of them. So maybe it's like $45, $50, but still, just for rune coin stuff alone, you're at around a $50 value. And once again, this thing cost $10 to unlock. Next part of this, we move on to treasure hunter keys. So I took all the stuff that you earned off a treasure hunter, and I tried to guess the amount of keys that you would use. I figured into all my guesses here that you would also be using free daily keys on this, and I also figured that RNG would be on your side. So the key offers here, once again, I tried to make them low so that it would seem of a fair value. There are 7 prismatic large fallen stars and 7 prismatic lamps. I assigned each of them a value of 2 keys each, so that's 28 keys worth of stuff right there. There are 2 huge prismatic fallen stars and 2 huge prismatic lamps. I assigned them a value of 3 keys each. Basically, like you're not going to win a huge prismatic in 3 keys, but you might win 3 smalls, which gets pretty close to being the value of a huge. It might even be more than a huge. I'm not sure how lamp value honestly equals out, but 3 keys felt like a fair way to put it there. 3 medium protein packs, I put that at 3 keys as well. 2 large protein packs, I gave that a value of 4 keys. 150 Silverhawk down, I gave that, and also 150 Tight Springs. I gave both of them a value of 3 keys, which is honestly super low because Silverhawk and Springs are super rare on Treasure Hunter, but I don't want to overestimate this stuff. 4 portable skilling packs, that's 2 keys each. 15 protein power-ups, I put them at 2 keys for each of those as well. So that brings the total number of keys that, off of those numbers that I came up with, would make the total number at around 89. So if you wanted to buy that many keys, you would have to buy a 75 key package for $21.99 and a 15 key package for $5.99, which makes it that you would have to spend $27.98 essentially to get all those keys. And that makes the overall value of the paid package around $86. So the idea that this package isn't worth it is kind of absurd.
And if, as you said, you lowballed them all, so I'd say it'd probably be over 100.
You could easily say it's a $100 value.
Yeah,
yeah, you
So
could
it's-
easily say that. But
You're paying 10% of it. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, and obviously, I'm sure there will be plenty of people who will feel that JX is making this first package super good to make them later. But this is generally how passes like this work, because they take time for you to unlock and commitment. They can put good rewards behind it, because honestly, like half the people who buy this package will probably only level it up to like 19 or 20 or something. Only the people who can play every day are gonna get all these rewards, and that's fine, because even if you only play for half of the time, you're still getting a $40 value.
And you could cash out if you want. If there's something you super want that has a perceived value that is above and beyond, you could just cash out. So there's always
That's the
that
other
option.
thing. How much do we figure it would cost to just buy all the tiers for RunePass?
Or like 2,400 rune coins.
2,400 rune coins. So basically, that's $55. So you would still get value out of RunePass if you literally paid to unlock the whole thing.
That's insanity.
Yeah, and like you can say JX is going to walk this back later. I obviously have no idea if the next RunePass will suck, but
We'll find out.
You can look at the industry standard, and that's not how it works. Like Fortnite, the passes there are loaded with value, and same in PUBG, same in any game that has these. And the biggest difference between say a Fortnite pass or even a PUBG pass and the Rune Pass is that the amount of time required, at least in this first Rune Pass, is so much less than something like Fortnite. Like Fortnite requires you to play 2 to 4 hours a day, if not more, to do those daily missions sometimes. Obviously, not all of them are that long, and there are way more weekly missions there, and who knows, maybe future Rune Passes will have way better rewards, but also take way more time. I would personally be okay with that, honestly.
The only people I ever see with maxed out battle passes in Fortnite are the streamers.
Okay, so according to
Excuse me.
Killer Bunny, 30 tiers is 1,800 rune coins. So yeah, you add the 400 rune coins to buy the initial package, so it's like 2,200 rune coins.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So again, it is good value, and that's people just got to stop jumping on them all the time for every little thing. Get the information first, and just
And that's why I did this, because I wanted the people out there to know the info, and this is also why Major and I are really sad that we wanted to have an episode out on Tuesday that was telling you all the value of this, and then we had a failed recording, unfortunately, so we're a little bit late here. But
just to cut in for a second, I think I might have missed it, but did you actually post this to Reddit, or?
No, I haven't posted it as its own post because it would get downvoted to hell. I've thought about writing.
I think you should just do it anyway.
Make a throwaway account.
For the small chance that it might not get
send it to me. I'm happy to chuck it up on my account. I don't care if they downvote me.
I mean, I might throw it up. I have so the one thing I have been posting is the math for, because there's so many people out there saying that RunePass is impossible to do. So I have been throwing up a link to that, and let me see, where are my comments? Yeah, all those comments basically hold 0 to 1 upvote because they just get downvoted every time I post it. It's amazing. Trying to actually correct people, and there are some that have here, for example, here's one post where I told a guy he's completely lying about the value of it. His post: no, you can't complete RunePass without buying tiers or playing 12+ hours.
Just no.
No, but listen, you can't play without buying tiers or playing 12+ hours a day. That's his claim. 23 upvotes. Me. That's a complete lie. Here's a breakdown to prove you wrong. I have 1 upvote. And that was negative a couple of days ago. It was -5 upvotes. So
some people came to their senses, basically. Yeah. No, it's literally just mob angry mentality.
Mob mentality. That's right.
People are just flipping out to flip out. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead,
RRman. It's sad, but I feel like you should post it, even if just 1 or 2 people out there hear this information. It's a win,
I've been meaning to do a write-up of it. I wanted to an actual write up something, because the biggest problem is conveying to people, because even on this show, if you think that I'm a lover of microtransactions, I'm not.
And I can vouch for that.
Pern is probably the only person here he's neutral on them and doesn't really care. But everyone else here does not like them. But RunePass is a move away from predatory microtransactions, and that's why I like it. Because if RunePass were able to replace Treasure Hunter promotions, or even maybe someday replace Treasure Hunter, I would be so happy. That would give me so much faith for the future of the game. And listening to Mod Osborne's talk on Tuesday, he basically said all the right things to me to make me happy. Now, obviously, Jagex needs to actually deliver on them. So, if in 6 months we are in a place where nothing has changed and dialogue has stopped, then there's a major problem. But currently we're at a place where Jagex is open to dialogue with us. They are trying alternatives to Treasure Hunter. And I think we need to, have a dialogue back with them and communicate these are the changes we want to see. End goals for me would be make all XP that you get off Treasure Hunter or in any other way in the game bonus XP. That would be an amazing change.
Yeah,
I agree.
Another change I'd love to see is don't limit random skilling keys. So if you have more than 10 keys in your storage for Treasure Hunter and you get a random skilling key, you can't unlock it until you actually use and have less than 10 keys. I think that's kind of gross, because skilling keys, you don't get them that often. Let people stock up that way, Protein items. I would love to see a way to make protein items in the game. Obviously, it would have to be heavily limited in some way, because protein items are very powerful, but remove more stuff off of Treasure Hunter. Contrary to popular belief, stuff elite skilling outfits have been put into the game, as we said earlier. Slayer mats have been put into the game. Spring Cleaner has been put into the game. Keep that up. Don't let Treasure Hunter have exclusives for too long. Cosmetic exclusives, I don't care. Leave them there forever. But game-changing exclusives, I would actually like them to never be on Treasure Hunter again. But if you're gonna add them, at least have a pathway into the game at some point for everything that provides some kind of value in game.
And they wanted to do this with RunePass, it sounded like, from the pitch initially, was this would be a great way to use the free track to eventually move certain treasure hunter cosmetics into the game. You know, it may not add everything into the game. I think we'd rather see things like skilling outfits and whatnot maybe tied to their respective skills. I don't know. But
well, I mean, skilling outfits have already been solved. Like, they're not going to put them on Treasure Hunter ever again. But like proteins or like Silverhawk boots, we need a solution there. And I think they're moving away from like that kind of like extremely altering gameplay stuff in Treasure Hunter. Like I think they've moved away from that. Like when's the last time we got one of those? It was a Dungeoneering outfit, and there hasn't been a thing since like it. You know?
Well, didn't they say on one of the last streams that the next outfit they come out won't be on Treasure Hunter?
Yeah. No more elite outfits will ever be on Treasure Hunter. They've said they're all going to come from skills, and the next one's going to be the farming outfit with player-owned farms.
That's right, yes, that's the one.
Which is coming in September, according to a JMod that I can't remember the name of, or where I even heard that from. Yeah, it was from the farming Discord. I forget which JMod said it. I was reading.
There's another skilling up, like, because the team that's making Elite Dungeons is making a skilling update for September as well.
Yeah, I know.
So that's confusing. I figured player-owned farms would have been August. What is August going to be then? We don't have any idea what's going to come out in August.
Those skilling offhand things, is that actually a thing that's confirmed? Is that meant to happen?
That was a... Go ahead.
Or was it just an idea?
Oh, no. Go ahead, Mage. I don't have any details.
That was a RuneFest kind of like, this could happen. It wasn't a guaranteed thing. People still want them, though. They come
Those are really cool.
Yeah, they pop up every now and again on Reddit. People asking about them. But yeah, it was just one of those just kind of like, we're going to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks type of thing. But I liked them. I'd love to see them in game. Anything you can add to skilling that gives diversity to trading is gonna, you're gonna get me on board.
I mean, I would love, like, I want to see, like, and we shouldn't dive into this topic too hard because we've got more shit to cover and it's already been over 2 hours. But like, I want to see actual like degradable skilling sets in the game at some point, like skilling sets that you can put perks on that degrade, that give you ways to make money. Like, I want to see that kind of stuff. And like, people like Treasure Hunter honestly stunted the possibilities of skilling in many ways by putting, skilling outfits on Treasure Hunter. It meant that they couldn't be like what armor is to PVM. Skilling outfits are not to skilling, and I want to see that change someday. But my ultimate end goal, honestly, for RunePass, and this is like a long shot, but like, Jagex, please replace Treasure Hunter with RunePass, or just with cosmetics. Like, you don't need to sell XP to make money, and I really hope that's what they learn from this diving into RunePass, is like, you don't need to sell XP to make money, and you could stop that altogether. I mean, maybe, like I said, bonus XP is way better. Maybe even like allowing people just to buy like a, spend $10 and get like a 10-hour 50% XP boost that you can use in game. I don't know, something like that. There's so much potential now that Jagex is listening to us, and I hope that they continue to. And I mean, honestly, Mod Osborne has been working like a saint on the RuneScape subreddit and actually replying to people, and the dialogue is still open, so they aren't shutting up, and that's such a good sign to me. Anyways,
especially with the abuse they're copying, because I'm sorry, if I was one of those mods and the amount of abuse that is going to them out there, I just say screw you all and just shut it off and just not talk to you.
Right.
For them to just to keep going, and I mean, and there's some real nasty stuff going out there about them, or to them, what people are saying and such. They're doing their jobs. They're not a charity. They are a business that has to make money. They're trying to come up with better ways. And Hana said, I don't care one way or on my transactions. They don't really bother me. But Mage and Hana have always said, having something where you pay the money and know what you're getting for it would be a much better way. That's exactly what they have done here. That is what hundreds of people out there have been asking for and saying about all this. It's gambling, it's this. We want to know what we're paying for. So they've given you this. You are paying $10. This is what you're getting as you go along and unlock each thing.
Yeah, that's been the most.
Yeah, you can see it.
I have lost, like, over the past couple months, I've lost so much faith in a lot of people who argue against MTX, because you're right. We used to always say, like, we want gambling to go away. We don't like loot boxes because it's gambling. Just sell us stuff up front. And I've seen PUBG over the past 3 months has moved away from loot boxes and introduced upfront skins and an upfront battle pass, and that community is rioting just as hard as the RuneScape community is about RunePass. And it's like, this is what I want. This is my dream for the future of games. Is like, don't sell XP, don't sell game breaking items, sell cosmetics. And don't make them gambling. Let me pay for it up front. Like, it's so good.
But you are a sensible person who can think for yourself. You are not one of the perpetually outraged that just want to have something to complain about and such. You know, you could. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. People could say, "Oh, we don't want to pay for milk. Milk's an essential. We want it for free," and the shops will turn around and give it for free. But then they'll get complained about because, well, why are you giving it for free? You know, we don't want this, and we want this milk, or we want something else, and it's just
why isn't it chocolate milk?
Yeah, exactly. People will never ever be satisfied, and you can blame, I mean, social media and all that type of stuff these days, where a popular person has but people have a popular opinion. And you actually surprised with the numbers that you gave me, because a friend did a video on this thing here and was basically saying much the same thing as, 8 to 10 hours of playtime or buy these packs get it, and sort of saying, it's a waste of time, this, that, and the other.
What?
That's the
so
he's actually an idiot, though.
Well, he is, yeah.
I mean,
he spent $15,000 to max an account in 3 days. Of course,
but this is the frustrating thing: is like there's so much misinformation out there, and you're right, it's being spread.
And idiots like him with actual power are not helping.
20,000 followers he has.
This is an issue across the internet.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Bluehole sues Epic Games because of copyright infringement, and everyone says, "Oh, Bluehole's suing Epic because they think they own the BR genre." And it's like, if Bluehole thought they owned the BR genre, they'd be suing Realm Royale, they'd be suing H1Z1. Like, they're suing a company who infringed on their copyright.
Someone needs to sue Radical Heights before that game gets too big.
Yeah, people just like do your research, people. Like, if you want to be angry about something, at least be informed about it. Yes. Or if you get it wrong, be willing to admit that you're wrong. Like, that's also equally important. Hopefully when that show goes up on Patreon, I'll just say it. So the part that I got wrong in this is I originally thought that all the skilling animations were new, and I found out they weren't. And I was like, okay, I was wrong about that. Good to know. Like, the ability to admit you're wrong, or just do some research before getting angry, both those things are so important, and it's something that I think we have always lacked as a culture, but it's something that's even more
so now.
I don't think it's more so. It's just easier to spot because we can all talk to each other more, and so you see when people are wrong in different ways. I think people have always been just as wrong. There was more misinformation in the past. You knew less, but the thing is, you only could talk to so many people 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and now you can talk to thousands of people in your lifetime. That's a relatively new phenomenon. It hasn't always been the case. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if anyone else has anything to add about this. Go ahead if you do.
I was just going to say, I was wrong about the PUBG stuff, and you informed me, and I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah, and I can't blame you for wrong. Like, we were talking about, a friend making a false video. Well, Jim Sterling made a false video yelling about PUBG. So many famous YouTubers made a video saying that this lawsuit's BS, and they're suing over the genre. And it's like,
I just missed all those videos because it just wasn't what I followed, unfortunately.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm saying they made videos saying what you believe.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
There were
to
a ton of YouTube. What made you?
I just want to say thank you to Ants Nest with 100 bits, who says I was mistaken once. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so don't believe everything you hear people saying, because even if they're a big personality on YouTube, they might be too lazy to have actually done the research. And the sad thing is, researching RunePass, it wasn't that hard. Especially figuring out how, the points, searching up the value, that took some work. That took an hour. But figuring out how many points you needed to earn and how long that would take, that was 10 minutes of work. It wasn't that complicated, but people just don't ever put in the time. And yeah, anyways, I think we can move on to. Oh, what's up, Bern?
I was just saying, I was wrong once too. I got married, but I'll never make that mistake again. Sorry, always got to throw one of those jokes in there now.
It's fine.
Just to finish it off, Hana, I think you really should post that to Reddit, because even if we convince 1, 2, or 3 people, it will change their life if they could just understand stuff like this.
Yeah, and to see that there are intelligent people out there who actually do research and look at these things properly, I think that would give Jagex a bit of heart too, to be able to read something like that.
We need them to hear it. So hopefully one of them is listening, as one of them usually does, and they hear this. It'd be great.
Well, I know Infinity used to listen, but he's not a mod anymore.
Yeah, I know Shawnee has listened at times. I know Mod Raven has listened at times. But there's people.
I want to get Mod Raven. If you are on, contact us. I'd love to have you on for a chat.
Me too.
All right. So next we have another topic. Who's
RS Mobile, May 2018 playtest results and what is next. So this came out on the 4th of July. We've been quiet since our last mobile playtest, and we hope this news post will give you a look into how our latest playtest went, what we've taken from that, and what you can look forward to as we go forward. So they have a little graphic there of the mobile playtest feedback from May 2018. Now, the following are the key new features for the playtest. The mobile gesture support, swipe and pinch, are now supported. A quick movement will swipe. A brief pause before movement will drag. Holding will open the options right-click menu. Swiping left or right with one finger can close the central window. Switch mini-map mode from compass. Switch between combat bars. Other actions include using one finger to move the camera and using 2-finger pinch to zoom the camera. Chat box modes. Chat now has a minimized and maximized mode. The maximized mode overrides the ribbon buttons for quick access to chat setup interfaces. A little plus icon to tap to start talking, and there's another icon there to tap to switch for chat modes. Combat mode changes. We've made several changes to the layout and added new buttons to make combat setup easier while removing obstructions from the game view. And again, there's a couple of icons there. One to tap to toggle combat interface, hold to toggle stack globes, and the second one is tap to access the new powers interface, and you hold it to access the other combat settings. Interface zoom. Management windows, e.g. the hero, and main interfaces, such as the Make X, will be expanded to fill the entire area of the game screen, making buttons easier to tap. And layout and feedback changes. Default ribbon layout for mobile improved. Minimap size is increased. Escape menu accessed left of the minimap. Borders are removed for main interface. Ribbon buttons are larger, 10 pixels, empty border around the UI added, and an inventory column size setting ignored. The screen presented to the testers who took part in the play test. So that was what they received. Oh, there's an actual picture of what they had down here. From May 3rd to May 14th, we ran a play test across iOS and Android devices. This was the first time in RuneScape Mobile we ran a test across both platforms, and there was a lot to digest. In this playtest, we introduced mobile gesture support, allowing our testers to use swipe and pinch functions for the first time. Alongside this came chat boxes and combat mode changes, removing obstructions from the game view. And finally, we expanded some interfaces to make it easier to interact with on mobile. Upon completion of the test, we sent out a survey to our testers. We wanted to find out the stats from the testers we invited to test. From this, we found out the following. 55% played the beta on iOS devices, with 45% on Android. 77% played mobile games daily, with 91% at least weekly. 87% also played RuneScape regularly. 8% of the respondents have not played regularly within the last month. Why did they get access then? Most have been playing RuneScape for over 6 years, with only 4% starting within the last 5 years. The top 5 RuneScape activities on mobile were skilling, combat with via Slayer, combat of bossing, clue scrolls, and quests. Revolution was the preferred combat style, with 82% of people using it.
I just want to stop right here and just say, Hydra, our former co-host from many, many years ago,
Hydra!
PM'd me this morning and said, Jagex must feel super awkward knowing they spent like 5-6 years developing a button mashing combat system just to port their game to an operating system that has no buttons. I thought that was funny.
Hydra, I remember him. He used to call it Jamflex all the time.
Yeah.
The top 5 activities all hit the mark. We fully expected most testers to use mobile for skilling, and we were additionally pleased to see some testers even attempting to boss on mobile. We then asked the testers to give us a rating based on the following points. Here are the 5 overall results from all those who completed the survey, scored out of 5. Interaction, 3.7. Camera controls, 3.99. Interaction menu, mini menu, is 3.11. The minimap, 3.61. Chat, 3.36. Combat, 3.11. Overall, testers rated RSM's interface as 3.84.
Good enough for me. That is like 3.84. Release it. That is release candidate.
That's a pass.
Yeah, that's a 3.84 GPA. I could only dream for that, you know?
Finally, we wanted to get an idea of player expectations based on mobile gameplay. Here's what we got back from the testers. The following are the main areas testers said they'd be satisfied to play regularly on mobile. Skilling at 97%. Combat general at 55%. Chatting with friends, 46%. Trading at 40%. Combat at low-level bosses, 36%. The following are the main areas testers said did not meet their expectations on mobile. Chatting with friends, 53%. High-level boss combat, 42%. General combat, 26%. Dungeoneering, 25%. And quests, 23%. I'm going to assume general combat would just be doing sort of Slayer creatures.
Yeah, I would imagine. I heard that like the hardest thing in across both clients, OSRS and RS3, has been chatting with friends. I was someone was PMing me yesterday playing on the old school client, and they were like, trying to PM you is like a 1 in 3 success to like PM the correct person because it's so small. And they were on a Razer phone, which is a fairly large screen with high definition. So,
well, see, if I were to play this, I'd be doing it on an iPad.
Exactly. This is making me want to like buy a tablet. Basically, when this finally hits, I'm gonna need to buy a tablet, and I'm okay with that. I've been needing an excuse to buy an iPad. Go ahead.
See, the thing with this also is, I probably wouldn't be chatting to anyone because this is the type of thing I'm just going to, I'm getting tired. I'm going to go lay in bed and just, chuck a TV show on,
exactly.
And just do a little bit of fishing, a little bit of wood cutting, that type of thing. I'm not, I'm not getting involved in the game. I'm winding down for the day. So I'm not going to be sitting there talking to everyone. Sort of what I do during the day now where, I'm just doing all my sort of house duties and just have the game going and just doing some AFK stuff, between sort of washing and cooking and all that type of thing.
I mean, the fact that
that's what I think.
The fact that 97% of people are satisfied with skilling basically tells me that it's it's ready. It's ready.
Yep.
That's
and we can improve the other things as we go along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm waiting for Hana, the voice of reason. Go ahead.
You caught it. We all complained that NXT was released too early, right? And I think that and obviously NXT, we all say it should have stayed in beta longer. With mobile, doing betas is way trickier of a thing because people are just not used to that concept. So if you release something that's kind of buggy on mobile, it runs the risk of chasing people away. And I think the potential of RuneScape on mobile is pretty huge. Not to bring in new players, but to bring back players who used to play. I think that's where the biggest potential for this lies. It's people who have kids who can't play as much, who had to quit for this or that obligation. Everyone had smartphones are the most pervasive device on the face of the planet. They are everywhere. Even in countries where people can't afford computers, there are smartphones because they're so cheap and they're so they're so essential, and they can, you know, upgrade your life in such ways where, you know, you can't afford a full computer. Well, you can buy a mini computer and get basically everything you can do somewhere else. So like, that potential is kind of huge. And like, I mean, I know I have friends who are like, you know, I have 2 kids. I'm gonna play RuneScape way more when this comes out, and I'm sure there's people out there who have, you know, 2 kids who can't play right now, and having mobile means they can sit on the couch with their kids watching TV and also be playing RuneScape. Like, that's gotta be huge.
But it's ready for me now. It's a skilling side of things that I want to do, so I don't care about everyone else. I want it released now.
You should go post that on Reddit. That's a perfect Reddit argument there.
Yeah, but no, that actually is a good point on that type of thing. Sort of, I am sort of thinking on my behalf. Yeah, it's ready for me. But as you said, a lot of those people who do want to come back and want to do those different things, it's probably right for them. And you're right about that mobile phone being everywhere. We know the Firestarter Samsung phones. They refitted those and sent them all out to India and. Was it India and Thailand? They sold them all to them.
Sounds about like Samsung.
Yep. Anyway, let's keep moving. Your insight was extremely valuable. By directing us to the potential issues you were facing, it indicated where we should focus on improving the mobile experience. There's only so many issues we can identify ourselves, and putting it in the hands of our testers allows us to see what issues they had so we could focus on them. After collating all the feedback, we prioritized ongoing development based on these results. Mini menu, too small to interact with, increase size, resolve finger blocking options. Chat, investigate and develop on chat interfaces, re-add ability to change chat channels, easier way to respond on mobile to PMs, add a way to always on chat. Bank, preset buttons are too small. The Grand Exchange, couldn't use the interface due to the keyboard blocking search. Child window, the size of the inventory slots and abilities slows the interaction, too small. Easier elking and disassembling required. Combat setup improvements, allow our testers to access the inventory, worn equipment, items and prayers easier. Combat the top level interface, interaction responsiveness and setup raised. World map interface, add margins to the interface, bezel and notch issues. Device system interaction, causing a game to lose function. Keyboard, huge source of frustration, improve open closed gestures. Top level interface and interface margins, accommodate bezels and iPhone X style notches and home buttons. The layout for top level interface, ribbon and investigate reduction of the TLI buttons. Quests. We'd investigate what might be causing lower confidence scores than expected. I tell you, the quest's not really designed for mobile use.
I'm trying to read all that on that tiny screen.
I know, that's...
I mean, or trying to do a quest puzzle on that tiny... Like, oh my gosh. Again,
exactly.
If you have a tablet, it's
They're
probably
not
a little
designed for that. Yeah.
Well, that's what they have to figure out, though. I mean, like,
yeah.
Because there are going to be people who will only play on mobile.
Yeah.
You can't expect people to be able to go back to their PC and play, because that's not what the core audience is going to be for this, I think. Well, not maybe the core audience will be, but there's going to be players who won't want to play anywhere else.
But with everything else that's sort of coming out, and the focus they're taking off quests, like, yeah, there's not a lot of quests you need to do for rewards anymore, Prif being sort of an exception. They're just watering down the rewards on quests anyway. So what's next? So that's what we've discovered since our May 2018 test. Now let's get to the exciting bit. Here's what we've done since that May playtest and what we're currently working on. Mini menu. Changes to adapt the mini menu for mobile have required a huge overhaul by the tech team. The changes will now allow the content teams to make changes to the visual appearance and have more control on what and how information is displayed. Still work to do, but we're getting close to it being testable. This is one of the key areas that will transform the RS mobile experience and is key to a more permanent closed beta. Drop-down menu options have also had the height increase to be easier to tap. Chat, rearranged chat to be in the top left, added a reply to PM button after player feedback. Added a button to swap between the standard and social ribbons. I just want to say, added a reply to PM button. That is a great little addition there. You just have to tap that and then bang. That's
that's
a little simple little fix, and
yeah, for something as simple as we have a tab button and that's easy to. But how do you? Trying to think of a way to make that as seamless on a touchscreen is an easy solution.
A full screen version of chat was removed, and a full minimized chat has been re-added with message notifications. We made certain messages that might be considered spam no longer trigger a notification on mobile. Providing an easier way to change between chat channels was a known issue, which we have now addressed. Bank and Grand Exchange. For the bank, they've increased the size of the bank preset buttons.
I wish they could have just stopped right at decrease the size of the bank.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Grand Exchange, move position of the search box so it is no longer hidden by the keyboard. Settings interface rewrite. In making sure we want to make our interface as mobile friendly as possible, we've completely revamped the settings menu. Check out the work in progress screenshot below. And they've got a couple of screenshots there.
They've made it much more like kind of collapsible, so you can easily find what you're looking for. And it's not an absolute god awful mess of tabs. Good.
Yeah. The ribbon backpack and action windows. Testers identified size of clickable components as something they wanted to improve on mobile. We've made the following improvements as a result of this: increased slot sizes of the backpack, worn equipment and ability books, larger text where possible, including friends list, larger buttons on the ribbon. The height of child windows now adapts if the minimap and or combat mode is hidden. On to combat, target switching. This is a feature that will allow you to enable the targeting system. In this, you can toggle between a variety of settings and will be available to mobile as well as desktop users.
Give me, now, I need it.
And you can set up cycle, target forwards keybind, set up cycle, target backwards keybind, set up direct targeting keybind.
This is one of my most wanted features.
Same for combat.
Literally is one of my most wanted features for combat. It's going to be fucking life-changing.
Well, there you go. It's coming to mobile and desktop for you. World map. Testers were getting stuck on the world map on certain devices. The buttons have been moved.
So we're finally going to rework
to prevent this.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
No, we're just moving the button away from the edge. NPC dialogue. Advancing through chat dialogue is no longer restricted to clicking the continue button. You can now click anywhere within the area where the button to advance dialogue is. Again, that's a great idea. Rather than having these little buttons, just click on the box. Optimizations, ongoing performance, battery use, and device-specific improvements. These should help reduce how hot the phone battery gets when playing RuneScape. Improvements to how the app deals with connections and the amount of data use. Resolve the major bug on mobile where some actions would stop any audio from playing. We have also gone through and fix the game cache. The cache is the game data we use for RuneScape on your mobile. With this, we've been clearing out old and unused archives and fixes for crashes.
Yay!
Moving on, contextual keyboards. We've started working on showing different keyboards depending on what the expected input should be. So, for example, an input field for a quantity of items would show a number pad keyboard. A major issue when interacting with the device or notifications that could cause any inputs to only affect the camera has been fixed, and login screens now moved to accommodate the keyboard. This should now show the 30-day authentication on most standard devices. While the technical challenges of bringing RuneScape onto mobile have been huge, we are getting closer by the week to have an experience that feels satisfying. Recent changes have had a huge impact on this, but there are still several areas to look at. We will be looking to run some more small beta tests in the near future, but there are still a number of areas to work on before we can be happy to give a date for any always-on closed beta. We know you're all eager to have mobile in your hands, and we'll keep you updated with any future playtests. The RuneScape team.
I don't care about mobile. I just want to be able to target enemies.
See, you want your thing. I just want to be able to do my skilling on mobile. So We want it all. We're set. Let's go.
The biggest disappointment to me is that, like, so in other MMOs, the way you target enemies is by hitting tab, and of course in RuneScape that already has a use, and I have no idea how I'm going to deprogram my brain from that, because I'm going to want to make it tab, but also tab to reply. You can't even rebind tab in RuneScape currently, can you?
Not currently.
I hope they allow you, because if they did, I would make tab my target enemy button, and I would make the
something engine limitation, something.
I would make the hyphen my my reply to chat. I'm sure. I think it's more like something. We don't want this button to be used for anything. You know what? With how long it's been tab to reply, it might be an engine thing.
It's been tab to reply since Classic.
Yeah, so that might have been terribly coded. There's definitely a possibility of that, considering how
before tab to reply was a thing, you used to have to type out tell, the name of the person, and then what you wanted to say.
Yeah, I know that from like
other
still
games.
like a thing in like World of Warcraft. You I think it's /whisper maybe.
It was always weird because if you wanted to say something in regular chat and you started your sentence with the word tell, so like if you wanted to say like tell him to go do this that, it would actually PM him. And I was it used to make you so mad.
Yeah, why wouldn't you make it like a whatever it's called, a slash or something?
Exactly. I know. And it's not like they didn't have the option, because back in RuneScape Classic, the dev console commands were : and then the admin command you wanted to use. So I mean, they could have, they just didn't. Anyway, that's my RuneScape Classic story of the day.
1 month left.
I know. We got to do something on July 31st. I'm gonna go into RuneScape Classic. We're gonna put the final day's music from Majora's Mask when the moon's falling down. We're gonna put that music on loop, and we're just gonna walk around RuneScape Classic talking about it.
Actually, you need to take me like skilling in that game. Like, we need to do some real shit.
We should do some quests. You should experience Underground Pass the way it was meant to be experienced.
That's probably a fuck ton of leveling.
Oh yeah, it would take you probably like a year to get there.
But I would love to.
Start botting now. There's no penalty.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
Anyway,
I'd be the one person who get caught.
You
Plus,
would.
I mean, I don't want to bot anyway.
Yeah.
If I was gonna do it, I would play on a expletive deleted server.
Sure.
Or I should say censored server, not expletive deleted. But yeah, I would find a server somewhere. I found out. I'm so tempted right now. So I found out that there is a 2006scape private server.
Yep.
You have no idea how tempted I am to freaking play that. Because
is it illegal? I'm guessing it is, to live stream a private server on Twitch.
Oh yeah, that would get you. That would get your channel banned.
I would have. That would be really fun, but I would imagine that's got to be against the terms of service.
Yeah, I think you could probably make like an informative video about it, right? Like where you're like, hey,
yeah,
this thing exists, but you couldn't be like, you know, I'm going to become a private RuneScape streamer. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't really touch private server. I mean, first of all, I don't trust people who make them to not like, you know, steal my RuneScape password. And second of all, I feel kind of weird about, you know, doing something like that when, you know, like I want Jagex to give me 2006scape, not just random people online. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
it'll never happen.
Then you know it'll get support and everything. That's one of my. I went and decided. Here's a cautionary tale: to support a RuneScape Classic private server, and you know, it was because the reason why I decided to support it was because they were touting that they were going to be true to the original RuneScape Classic, and they weren't going to do increased XP rates. They weren't going to sell things. The goal was just to preserve RuneScape Classic. And then they went and did everything that they said they weren't going to do.
The biggest problem is, like, it's the problem Jagex finds, right? Like, Classic as Classic is not popular.
It's not a viable business model to keep running. You need to have a dedicated community of people who want to support and keep it running, or it's not going to run itself. Like, you're not going to make money off of running a Classic server.
And I mean, I think some people have like, I mean, I think like RuneScape Classic closing has kind of like energized that community. Like, I have a friend who's like huge into Classic, and like she runs like the RuneScape Classic Discord, or helps run it. And there's like a huge preservation effort going in there. So I think we may see, you know, some relatively popular like preservation servers existing. And even though that's not legal, like if you are shutting down a version of a game completely,
Yeah.
like I know it's not strictly legal, but I have way less of a problem with people doing that than like running a current version of a game that exists, or like a slightly older version of a game that exists for people. Like that's kind of strange to me, but classic needs to be preserved, and if Jagex isn't going to do it, someone should.
I'll go one step further and say if a developer abandons their game and it is no longer in any form of active development or any form of being sold by the developer, then it's the fans as far as I'm concerned at that point. It's abandonware. They should be. I know it's not legally abandonware, but in my mind, it should be abandonware. If the original company is making no money off of it and they are not running it in any way, shape, or form, and it's completely discontinued, the fans should be able to do what they want with it at that point.
Yeah, I could spend a long time arguing for preservation of games, but we still have like 20 more topics to cover.
We do still have a hefty amount of stuff to go through here, and this next topic here is, I think, a poignant one at the moment because of how angry the community gets when Mod Osborne opens his mouth. And I think this post has some interesting insight behind that. I'm not saying this is 100% correct or incorrect. I just think that this person has some interesting insight, and I will open it to discussion after I read it. So this is called Mod Osborne is Not on Our Side. And it's by Elder Camp PVM. Excuse me, I'm got a little frog in my throat there. It says, Dear Mod Osborne and the RuneScape community, we all need to realize something. Part of the reason the microtransaction debate is going so poorly is because there is a hidden difference of perspective. When Mod Osborne says that he wants to communicate more and better, what Mod Osborne hopes is that if he tells us more about Jagex's plans and why they are necessary, the community will be more accepting of them. What the community hopes is that Mod Osborne will consult more with the community about what is acceptable to them before implementing it.
Well, no, because what he needs to do is consult with his parent company and make sure that he's doing what they want him to do.
Well, but on some level, he is also doing that. Like he is, yes. They are taking feedback, and like obviously there has been like 5 years where they haven't. But I really do think the most recent devlog and the past week are Jagex saying we want to have a dialogue, not just we release something and you get angry. Like I think like there is pretty clear, like it's kind of undeniable if you look at like what like numbers for RuneScape were in like 2014 or 2015 and what they are today. Like a lot of players have gone, and like there has to be a reason for that, and part of that could very easily be microtransactions. Obviously the game is still thriving. I'm not one of those people who's like the end is nigh, but like the player base has shrunk, and like there has to be a reason for that. And I think that's why Jagex is starting to talk more.
They're all playing Realm Royale.
Want it to shrink more. But they're all off playing old school. Is what they're doing, because the best way to prove the Jagex you hate them is to play another game they make. Yeah,
it's to give them money in a different pocket. That would be a great meme where it's just a picture of meme person being angry at Jagex and taking money out of one pocket and shoving it angrily into the other pocket. It's like, this'll show them.
But I mean, there is. I'm making fun of it, but there is some validity that if you're playing the game without microtransactions, you are sending a simple like, I'm not playing that game because it's been because it has MTX and like that. I can respect that argument as much as I make fun of some people, because some people act like Jagex is the worst company ever, and to show them that, come over to old school, which is like, you're not showing them they're the worst company ever. You're just showing them that you like something else they make, and guess what? They don't care which game you play because you're still paying them.
Yeah. So it says, Mod Osborne, admirably, attempting to help things by advocating for the MTX updates. However, the community currently seems to hope and expect that Mod Osborne will advocate for the community. This is creating a lot of problems. The community interprets Mod Osborne's comments about possible but remote future paths for MTX as promises or commitments, and feel betrayed every time things take a different route. If we are truly going to get anywhere, there are a few things that we need to establish. To the community, remember that Mod Osborne represents Jagex, not us. When he communicates with us, he is hoping to explain the rationale of microtransactions as best he can. His role here is not to help us find ways to stop microtransactions from happening. To Mod Osborne, remember that you represent Jagex, not us. While communicating with players about intentions of the updates may be helpful to some degree, you must understand that players already understand the business rationale and the plans that you have for them, but the updates are genuinely unacceptable to them nonetheless, for the reason frequently stated, argued, memed, shouted elsewhere, is the perception of incessant MTX creep encroaching upon non-MTX updates, inappropriate layering of multiple types of monetization, low perceived, quote, return on concession for MTX and non-MTX update quality. Mod Osborne, there are no words you can say to make this update palatable to the people who are unhappy about microtransactions, because it genuinely is unacceptable to them, even with a perfect appreciation of a wider business context and the long-term progression of MTX. In light of this, please be more careful about how you represent yourself. Since you are not on our side, it would feel much more honest and genuine if you took a firmer stance about what is and isn't going to happen. You mean well by spitballing with us about what might happen, but this ultimately just digs the divide deeper when your musings are interpreted as concessions. And remember, as I was saying, this sounds like Mod Osborne's stream of consciousness. And that's, again, I think his stream of consciousness often gets interpreted as concessions. So that's where
maybe I can understand that to a certain degree, but like I think him talk like. He is sharing the, like, for MTX specifically, like in other cases I completely agree with this, like bank bidders, like I guess Killer Bunny shouted in chat, Mod Osborne, bank bidders, let's remove Camelot. Like those were like stream of consciousness, like well, bank bidders was more real, but Camelot was like Mod Osborne just thinking off the top of his head and throwing some random shit out.
Fever dream.
But like MTX, like the best way I think he's talking like is with the community, because he wants to like figure out a middle ground, and maybe there isn't one, and I've become much more cynical that there isn't one, because I am someone who has already said like, hey, I love I want microtransactions to not be predatory. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't want MTX to be predatory, but everyone else is like, nope, we just want no MTX. And so like I don't know what hope there is.
Yeah, well, I really like this post. But I think the title sort of isn't very clear. I think what it should be, yeah, exactly. But it should be Mod Osborne wants to be on our side all the time, but can't be on our side all the time. That should be, and that would make this post.
Mod Osborne is a boss who's trying to be friends with his employees, and only his employees are his customers. I'm confused.
But no, the thing is, yeah, he might be just spitballing ideas, but he's trying to get data from people as well.
Yeah,
I'll throw these ideas out. What do you like? Okay, that's an idea that they liked. Can we implement it? What can we do? And look down those tracks. And I mean, the thing is, we've said it all before. It's great to to criticize these companies and such, but what you've got to do is be constructive about it. And yelling and screaming and ranting and raving and throwing little tantrums and things is not constructive. And tell them why it's not good. And
well, they have, and it's not working.
Hana has said all the way along, has said we want less predatory, we want less RNG, we want to know what we pay for, and
as we've been offered these things, the community still continues to freak out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's and that's what frustrates me so much.
Yeah.
It's like this is exactly what everyone has been asking for, yet you're still going to whinge and cry and moan and bitch about it.
And so the anger cycle flares up even stronger the next time when the community feels betrayed that you didn't follow through again. Perhaps you are afraid of being honest about the future plans of Jagex regarding microtransactions, because you know that the community, will hate them and some players will quit. If this is the case, if there are already concrete plans that you don't feel you can reveal to the community, I urge you to reconsider and be honest with your players. This is the only level at which Jagex could legitimately be accused of acting dishonestly. It is Jagex's right as a business to push the monetization as aggressively as they choose, but it is dishonest to choose an aggressive monetization strategy while simultaneously denying it or downplaying it. Be clear with players about any future plans that are concrete, out of respect for them as individuals with an emotional investment in this game, as well as consumers. Let them decide for themselves whether the path of monetization is acceptable to them, instead of keeping them guessing and constantly pushing boundaries. My personal wish would be for Jagex to appoint a genuine anti-MTX advocate who could involve in the planning stage of future MTX updates, even if their direct decision-making authority were limited. Mod Osborne, in your role at RuneScape, which includes business aspects, you could not be that person. Please give us clarity, structure, and accountability in the future expansion of microtransactions. This post, being a microtransaction post, has 88% upvote. And just keep that in mind, considering every other microtransaction post generally sits between 33 and 56%.
I just want to say that where it says be clear about any future plans that are concrete. I mean, basically, they're working like on a 3-month cycle. The future plans at the moment aren't really, especially in this type of thing, aren't going to be concrete. This is something totally new that they are trying. So they are looking at developing. I mean, it said on the front page of the news post, this is a pilot program that we are trying. We want your feedback, engage reactions and such. So there is nothing concrete about RunePass and such. It is something that they're trialing and trying to work out, what's going to happen. So I think this guy, well, he's got some good points. I mean, while I snickered at the anti-MTX advocate, that's a lot of companies do have.
That's why this has so many upvotes.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, a lot of companies do sort of have that sort of team that sort of looks at these things and tries to monitor how about what happens with this, and try and pick apart and find problems with it that they may incur. So it's not as silly an idea as it sounds, but it's
well. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, this guy has some good points, but saying that Jagex should be up front, like, they have been up front in many cases and it hasn't gotten them anywhere. So that part feels a bit disingenuous. Like, they are trying to do the opposite right now, where they're trying to brainstorm with the community effectively, and the community is acting. The community is acting like they're not, like they're doing what they used to do, and and obviously it's only been a week. This has to keep happening, and I keep wanting to stress that. Like, I'm optimistic. I am not blind to the fact that this could all fall down on its face. Like, my optimism is not something that means that I don't think that they could just go back to treasure hunter promos all the time, or that we could live in a world someday where it's treasure hunter promos and RunePass all the time. Like, those are both definite possibilities, but I think that Jagex is trying to make things different at this point, and if they deliver on it, they deliver on it. If they don't, then we have to criticize them again.
That's right. I mean, they're looking at getting rid of that RNG type of thing that everyone's doing it, and this is, and to me, it's not perfect, but to me, it's a very, very good replacement. And if they can get the same sort of money out of it, it does sort of save that dilemma of that gambling aspect to minors and people who do have sort of gambling addictions, and moving away from that, because as you point out, it's $10. This is what I'm working for, and at the end of it, that's what I get. And you've got that clear, concise. I know what I've paid for. I know what I'm getting.
There you go. Any other points, thoughts, comments? Shall we continue along here? Magebit is fading.
I want this next one.
I'm gonna have to jump off because it's 5 a.m. here.
And, but Osborne answers.
Are we actually gonna do it? Are we?
We're gonna read his answer for sure.
Okay, all right. I'll stay.
Well, it's not an answer to this. It's just like Osborne's. This is just Osborne has been leaving a lot of comments on the subreddit.
Right, I'll stay for this, and then I'll go.
Yeah, he's been, I don't know if there's any specific comments that we want to read in particular, but he has actually been spending a lot of time trying to basically fight fires on Reddit, which, honestly, I don't know if it's doing anything more than when they did nothing.
So when we posted this, Osborne had not replied to that post you just read, but he actually has.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
really?
what I mean. He's replied to the Osborne.
Now I understand why you were saying what you were. See, when we put this topic in the show notes, it wasn't there.
Gotcha.
So, Pern, do you want to read that comment? It's long as hell, but let's hear it.
Yeah.
Go
Okay,
for it.
so this is Osborne's reply. I love this post so much. It's so reasoned and comes with countless good arguments.
I love the pause there because we should have just ended it. I love this post so much. All right, let's do it, everybody.
Hey,
Sorry, I just ran out of aggro. I just ran out of aggro pot, so I had to just take a quick sip of aggro.
I was gonna say thanks, Pern, for keeping me awake for that.
Whenever I talk on Reddit or elsewhere, I'm aware that I'm not buckling, not allowing any feedback in. As you've put it so well, I'm just hoping to explain the rationale of MTX as best as I can. And there's no room for feedback or listening there. Your post has definitely made me think about how I am posting. From my perspective, we can't change our approach to MTX yet, or at least we need more information before we do. We need more data from RunePass. We need to talk to players about their experience with it, and not on Reddit, more from qualitative surveys. We need to bring plans to our managers and board and get the things signed off. If I make promises, I'd either be breaking them, there are countless examples of us making promises too early, causing issues, or putting my managers in a hard position. This means that all I can do is talk about our intentions. And that's pissing lots of people off because we haven't had a great history of following up on our intentions. My statement from 2016 comes to mind when internal targets shifted after the statement was made. I've never recovered in terms of public opinion from that moment, and I completely agree that I should be hoisted for it. It's a hard position, as I also don't want to stop communicating, nor do I want to just be blasting hot air all the time. Now, I'll take a pause there.
Yeah, that's what.
That was when they come out and they said they were going to step back on how many promotions and such they were going to come. No, that was 2016. Because that was,
really?
And that's when, that's when I would assume. No. That was when I would assume that IVP started ramping things up because they were getting ready to sell the company. Okay. So I think they've come out with that, and then all of a sudden, bang! They've been hit with ramping it up to sell the company.
Well, yeah, you might be right. I mean, last year they did make a statement, and they said they were going to trial cutting back MTX. But I don't know. Maybe the 2016 statement also said similar things.
Yeah.
There was a big thing in 2016 where they had a big talk and they were saying we are going to be doing this. We're looking at it. We're going to cut back and such. And I do remember
it was
that.
last year when you guys did a podcast. You and
no, there was another. I mean, there was another topic last year on a very similar thing.
Yeah, okay. No, but I do remember this one, and I do remember it was 2016 because.
In 2017, we had that promotion that was way too close to like gambling that people freaked out about, and they had to promise to never do a promotion like that again.
Well, but they also that was also the time that they said we're going to try not having that's when they removed Second Chance Tuesdays and shit.
Yes, that was that was again, and that was where they tried. Okay, well, we said this last year. Now we're going to try and implement it, and again after that one.
So
the original one was back in 2016.
So I found the 2016 statement. I can read it here real quick. Yep. This is Beyond the Arc. Jagex answers. Hi guys. Over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of heated discussion about Beyond the Arc promotion, which has understandably opened up a conversation about microtransactions in general. We've been ignoring these conversations. You can be sure that we're all reading them. We haven't been ignoring. We haven't been ignoring these conversations. You can be sure that we're all reading them and are deep in our own discussions about what it might mean for the future. It's probably worth noting that noting what the main criticisms are. Beyond the Arc feels like we are putting the Arc rewards behind a paywall. That's largely because ARC rewards are, as we're aware, underwhelming, as was the entire ARC, let's be honest. A combat and invention-related reward feels like a game content... A combat and invention-related reward feels like a game content update, not a reward from Treasure Hunter promotions. The outfit can't be gained using daily keys. You need additional keys to complete it. The frequency of Treasure Hunter promos feels constant right now.
Oh, that high Honto bullshit. Now I remember.
That's the one.
I remember
yes,
the
that
start.
one.
It had the map
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Yes,
you
that's
hardly
the
get
one,
through
yes.
it or- Yeah.
That all just came swarming back to me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
when I heard had to buy keys, I was like, oh.
It's also worth keeping in mind when it comes to microtransactions. They are vital to RuneScape as a business. Without them, we wouldn't be able to invest in RS as much as we do. Regardless, when we design promos, we try to consider and balance the health of the game, the commercial success of RuneScape, and of course how microtransactions impact on you. Something else I want to say, it wasn't in the TLDR, but like Mod Osborne like legitimately said that he knows that like XP dump treasure hunter events are not healthy for the long term like health of RuneScape, which was great to hear him say.
To have that come out of his
Smart,
mouth
exactly,
is
yeah.
surprising.
Here's my answer to your feedback. So I'm not gonna read. Let's see, promotion frequency. That's really the part we're worried about, right? So I'm just gonna skip down to that instead of reading all the other parts. This is where we have to come back to the point that microtransactions are extremely important to the factor in making RuneScape a continued success. We don't want to overwhelm you with promotions, though. There should be a balance between ensuring commercial success of the game and making it fair within reason to you, that our community which you, our community, are happy with. I hope this addresses some of your concerns around promotion state of microtransactions within RuneScape. So that's really not even that hardcore of a statement. I'm trying to figure out.
But people take it as, oh, well, you said we were going to look at cutting back on and find a balance, and you haven't done that, you know. And again, it's people we are having a look at, but they don't take that. They just they read what they want to read.
Pretty much.
That's the problem. And that was a big mistake, that high Hanto outfit, and they stuffed up, and
we haven't seen anything like it again.
Yeah, that's right. We did something else last time. We had a big gambling thing.
Yeah, we'll make up another egregious event. Don't worry.
But that's the thing. They don't make the same mistake twice, but they do find, they do make
There's nothing wrong with making new mistakes, though.
That's right.
And there's more stuff in here, like inability to gain it using daily XPs. Daily keys, not XPs. My brain, it's been 3 hours, people.
Daily keys and XPs.
And I've been streaming for 6 hours, so I've been talking for so damn long. We clearly need to do some thinking on how we do this kind of promotion in the future. We made some changes based on your feedback since the last promotion of this style, Flight of the Butterflies, but that didn't seem to go far enough. In particular, we'll be exploring the idea of allowing long-term completion of maps, like this suggestion. So there is more in this thing where he does make some promises that clearly weren't kept super well. So now that we have that background, we can hand things back.
Well, then, but they never did the maps again.
Back to you, Pern.
Okay, so anyway, moving on. A small aside then is that we should find ways to be more two-way and open to feedback when it comes to MTX. I'd like to try that for the RunePass follow-up. Once RunePass is finished, we'll know more then, and we'll be able to give concrete results as well as the next steps. I'm thinking AMAs or other feedback processes, and show that we've read the countless quality feedback documents on RunePass. Thanks for your feedback on that. You mentioned that we should be more transparent about our long-term plans for MTX. It's a good aim, but generally, we don't know what our plans are yet. Yes, we are in a pattern of promos as we look to achieve targets that have been set for us to achieve, and that won't change in the short term for reasons I have mentioned above. But we have a parallel strategy that we're more excited about, and it's one of experimentation. We're hoping that some of these experiments work out so that we can then form a strategy from them. The majority of these are looking to safeguard the long term of the game by focusing on cosmetics, encouraging new players rather than relying on existing players, or experimenting with membership packages rather than promos. The long term of the game is 100% what the devs feel should be our priority, and it sounds like it is from players too. RunePass is the headline of those experiments, but we have a few more. A minor point is that the reaction to RunePass has made us far, far more sensitive to those experiments and how we're presenting them. So we need to think about what it means for them and whether they ever get launched. We'll still be in the experimentation mode, though. See, and that's what pisses me off about people just jumping up and down and screaming and not getting full information, and the outright are out there about it.
Me too. Me too, because I really worry, like, if RunePass had gone off as a massive success, like, it could have changed the future of the game, and I worry about the effect the negative lashback is going to have. Because the thing it does is the thing, like, it's the same thing that happened with PUBG. The thing that it does when you react to something like RunePass, the same way you react to something like Treasure Hunter, you show the developers that it doesn't matter how they use microtransactions, you're going to be angry about them. That's basically the message you are sending to Jagex is we are angry about microtransactions, and that is not the message I want to send to them. I want to tell them I am angry about overpowered microtransactions. I am angry about gambling being in my games. Like, I want those things to change, but I also know that you are a small video game that needs to make money, and if you want to sell me cute cosmetic outfits, I'll buy them.
Exactly. And that is exactly what they've done, and it just yeah. And I've said it before. I mean, the community. I mean, they are sheep. Common sense is not common. Yet people don't like to think for themselves anymore, and it just gets really frustrating. Anyway,
well, I mean, it's not, that's part of it.
Sheep.
I wouldn't say it's anymore. But, like, it's always been a problem. Like I said before, like, the problem, I mean, we talked about a friend publishing a video. I haven't watched it, so I'm speaking to what other people have said. But if a friend publishes a video and is like, hey, this RunePass thing is real shitty, here's the evidence, and then everybody watches that, they're going to, like, a friend has a ton of power. Or, like, any other big voice out there. A Reddit post that claims it takes 12 hours of play a day to max RunePass. Like, people see that and they believe it. And then, like, correcting that misinformation is, like, near impossible. Anyways.
Should I read his response to Mod Osborne's response? Are we going down that rabbit hole?
Did you want me to just finish?
Yes.
I'll just finish the last bit. There are other bigger questions being asked about the next few years of RuneScape, about whether the future is in memberships, free-to-play, room passes, etc., but there's no point in talking about them in much detail. Most of the staff don't know about them yet, let alone publishing to the players, and that's something we need to talk around more. I know that's communicating an intention, old habits, but we have 2 new managers overseeing RuneScape, and they are sensitive to the sentiment at the moment and are eager to try big things, which is good. Finally, you mentioned that we should employ an anti-MTX advocate. We have plenty of MTX skeptics on the staff. Skeptics is being diplomatic as I can put it. And they have provided countless checks and balances on the things that we could have launched. Promos go through an all RuneScape feedback round, for example, and we've just had a feedback session yesterday. It doesn't mean anything if we don't implement that feedback, but we have repeated examples of killing promos, changing them dramatically, etc. I hope that begins to cover a lot of what you wrote. I will do my best to be more open to feedback, and I've already put in a request for better people than me and more responsive, less corporate, and more skeptical to join the conversations. Hopefully that will happen. See, and again, you know, Mod Osborne is very open. I mean, he's a likable guy, and, you know, he does wear his heart on his sleeve sometimes a bit, and does sort of, you know, just pump information out there, and maybe sometimes he sort of speaks before he thinks, but that is the passion that he has for the game, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to see him lose that.
Yeah, and I think it's worth it. Like, if you're frustrated, I get it. Like, I'm still frustrated and I'm still wary, but, like, they are showing signs of actually making changes here. And, like, having this open of a dialogue is something that's very new for us as players to see around microtransactions. Like, Jagex has always been an open company. Not always. Modern Jagex has always been an open company, but they have not been open about something like this. And so hopefully this can lead to some real change if we just, you know, we talk back and forth with them. Don't doomsay and don't
be abusive, though.
Yeah, definitely don't be abusive. Like, we can have it. Like, you can see, like, Mod Osborne has a lot of replies in his comments right here. This one guy's post, though, it's super long. It's super well written. I don't agree with everything he says, but he gets a super long, super well written response. Like, if you talk nicely, it pays off. You can actually open a real dialogue, and it's great. Anyways.
And there's this one down here, I mean, where he was getting accused of, you know, not not talking to the players and listening. I spent 5 hours last night replying, then went to work, and now I'm back replying again. I'm trying, guys. You know, you can.
Yeah,
So
but I think that kind of comment, that player comment, comes from the history, right? Because like a year ago, it took a month of the subreddit flipping out to get one response from Jagex, and that was a problem. Like now, it took 2 days, and they are still responding to the problems. So, if they keep this up, it could mean good things, and hopefully they do. Mage, did you want to read the reply to the reply to the reply to the...
Sure, yeah. So, the reply to the reply says, "Thank you for your reply. You mentioned that providing clarity to players is difficult because you don't have clarity yourself. You mentioned that you are hopefully going to form a strategy from your experiments, but you haven't yet. You concretely tell us that you have 2 new managers that are more open to being sensitive regarding microtransactions, which, as far as I know, is new information and an encouraging step towards precisely the kind of disclosure that I am asking for. Please recognize that the need for clarity has arisen from the poor history of Jagex on this topic. Clarity can be substituted in with trust and goodwill, but we have unfortunately burned out the latter. It is entirely understandable that you need quality information before you can formulate a definitive strategy. Unfortunately, it is less understandable that it has taken you so long and so many outrage cycles already before beginning to collect this information and start experimenting. You must take responsibility for this if you wish to maintain the image of Jagex as a player-oriented company." I think that that's kind of a fair point there, is how many rage cycles it took before they began to respond to it more effectively. Probably, in hindsight, could have been improved, and we maybe wouldn't be in such a heated situation. Let's see here. As you can tell from some of the other comments in this thread, there is a widespread uncertainty and pessimism about the extent to which microtransactions might creep. I suggest that drawing some clear, clean lines in the sand about whether microtransactions could encroach upon bossing ability, quest content, in-game achievements other than XP, etc. would be effective in combating this. You have remarked that this is difficult, and I am not disputing that. I think you owe it to us nonetheless. Even if you have not yet drawn these lines for yourselves, it is with your power to do so. It is within your power to do so, subject to due process.
It's not, though. Like, if in a world where Mod Osborne retires next year and someone new takes over and the player base crashes, you know, to minus 20,000 more players, like, he could make that comment, and then it would look just as bad as the Andrew Gower comment from 2003 saying we'll never have microtransactions in our game. Like, you can't. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Unfortunately, that is the case. And I had a thought, but my brain just kind of farted. So I will finish reading this. It's go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know you had more to read. I wanted to add something. It's another comment, so I'll let you finish.
Okay. Reddit may not be representative of every demographic that plays RuneScape, but it is representative of a core community of veterans without whom the game would become extremely shallow. Wow, you think mightily of yourself, don't you? Without whom new players would have little to aspire to or learn from.
Or
you noobs could learn.
Wouldn't be chased away from the game because the subreddit's raging.
You noobs could learn so much from me. God damn it! I dropped my mouse twice.
The mage rage is back.
I'm so I'm so amazing and godlike. I can't even keep my mouse on my desk. Oh, and don't forget, there will be a full replay of me losing my effing mind from bonus XP weekends ago. I found that totally by accident the other day as I was backing up archives. I just found this one file that's literally called, hold on, it's called Magebit-Ragequit-Life. Anyway, let's wrap up here. So Reddit may not be representative of every demographic that plays RuneScape. High and mighty, yada yada yada. Veterans are the end all be all, of course. OSRS has drawn clear.
Or even thinking that most veterans are on Reddit, which, like, I don't believe for a second, because honestly, the RuneScape community skews pretty old, and I don't think there's like a bunch of like. Most people Pern's age who play RuneScape are not on the subreddit, let's be honest.
Sure. OSRs
Age.
has drawn clear lines in the sand, and their community still broadly trusts their mods. RuneScape 3
Really? Oh, if you think that, just go read the subreddit, like, after Dead Man Mode
I know.
happens,
That's
anything like
literally
that.
what came to my mind was Dead Man Mode last year. OSRs has drawn clear lines.
Last week, Dead Man Mode.
That's
what are you
true.
talking about last year?
I still feel like last year's was more controversial than last week's, but you're right. You are right. Last week's also was not without controversy. RuneScape 3 and OSRs obviously have entirely different business models, but I hope that the connection between clarity and trust is clear. Last but not least, a million apologies for spelling your name wrong.
The guy's original post was much better than the follow up. Like, honestly, I think if you look at the old school community, like, you would lose any faith that communicating with the community actually makes a difference, because that community is still toxic AF. I mean, like, they don't trust their mods. Like, they trust Ash, and that's about it.
Yeah.
They shit on basically all their other mods all the time. It's ridiculous. I look over there sometimes, and I'm always appalled at how, like, personal the attacks of. I mean, like, you could look at the RuneLight controversy that happened 2 months ago, and, like, people went after specific J mods during that controversy, like, all that stuff. Like, that community is not some, like, well-oiled machine because of communication. So, yeah, that was a great read. I'm glad that Osborne replied to that. There's
too.
one other post that I wanted to highlight, and that is someone posted PSA. Jagex has no plans to replace Treasure Hunter with RunePass, regardless how successful. And this is a Mod Osborne tweet where someone said, "Can we get a solid answer? If RunePass does well, will we see a permanent removal of Treasure Hunter, or removal of MTX from events such as Spring Fair and Beach?" The solid answer is no. We won't. We can't promise that, as much as I would love to, but we want to open the door and see where it goes. That was the comment, and this guy's like, Jagex has no plans to replace Treasure Hunter, which is, like, such a hyperbolic interpretation.
Yeah. Killer Bunny's
Osborne
got a fair comment to that, if I may, real quick. It's basically the gist is just like, if you expected them to get it right on the first try, 100%, with no, little nitpicks whatsoever, then you're just living in a fantasy world at this point in your life. And, like, the fact that people can't even accept that this is a trial just blows my mind. It's just how I don't know. That's all I have to say. Continue.
So, and even if it is, I mean, for a trial, it's amazing, as pointed out earlier in the show. Like, if you look at, obviously, RunePass with Treasure Hunter, I don't like the mix. But if you look at RunePass by itself, it is a great value currently. So the next thing, Osborne replied to this guy's quote unquote PSA. The person I was replying to was asking whether the RunePass we are doing now would be directly followed by the removal of all Treasure Hunter. My answer to that was no, it wouldn't. I can't commit to that, sorry. But if it's really successful, then it could lead to more experiments or a bigger call later on. But no, we won't be removing Treasure Hunter directly after. Like, I know that people will even say there's a bunch of gray area there, and there is, because he can't say, yes, 100% sure it's going to happen. But it's clear that if RunePass is, like, a blowaway success, they can move away from Treasure Hunter, and they will. I don't believe this theory that, like, both of them will exist together. Like, obviously there's a chance that will happen, but I think that's being way too pessimistic. To be like, Jagex's real evil, dastardly plan is slowly introduce more and more MTX methods and then just let them, go away into the sunset. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say there. We have, one more topic?
Yeah,
this show that was going to be 2 hours long.
Yeah. One more fun topic, and then we will shut it down. So this one's just simply called "Be Careful." And I just like this post for a few reasons that will become maybe apparent towards the end. It says, "Okay, so there's this player. Don't know if I'm allowed to call them out, but this player stands around the GE. Okay, so he says he will give 5 mil if you visit his clan forum on the RuneScape website. Okay, so knowing this is too good to be real, I go on indirectly, not using the link he gave me. So that's the important thing right there. Didn't use the link that was given to them. I go on to the forums on the RuneScape website, and I see his clan and return in game. And this is where there's this, like, there's missing time between this sentence and the next sentence. I am abruptly logged out and found that he changed my password. Something happened in between that sentence and this next sentence here that I feel like they might be leaving out. I changed my password, go on, and I get logged off again. I change the password again, and this time it's successful. I see him standing next to me at the GE, and I question him about some stuff. He admits to scamming me, then logs off. How did this happen? The RuneScape forums are perfectly safe, and he only PM'd me. My password is secure, and there is no way he knew it by just PMing me. I am asking for ideas and a discussion to how this talented scammer pulled this off. So, how did this talented scammer manage to pull this off? Well, clearly some information has not been stated here, because if you go into the comments, he says, I think when I attempted to log in, it told me to enter a 6-digit code, and I typed it in. This was during the hack when I attempted to log into the RuneScape forums. So,
So he wasn't on the forums website then.
No, he wasn't on the... How do you manage to get to the wrong RuneScape forums if you went there yourself? Like, he's clearly lying, right? He's just trying to cover up for his own mistake.
He didn't click on the link, but he just typed it in directly.
I guess he just assumed that the link that was given to him was the form. Again, he's not being completely honest here about something. Either it's just like a misunderstanding as far as the way he's typing it, saying that he typed the link in and didn't. But he says he didn't follow the link that the scammer gave him. He says he went there on his own and still got scammed,
Yeah.
which just
where the falsehood comes from, or what Pern said. He didn't click the link. He just typed it into his browser. Didn't click it though, but I typed it in exactly in my browser.
Yeah, because that won't. Yeah. Anyway, that's obviously where this person went wrong. I don't.
Wait, I got special in my chat saying the link he sent prioritizes over the RS link as it's formatted that way. I'm not sure. Well, the thing is, it was set in game, so I see what you're saying. Like it made it. I think you're saying he made it like look like it was a RuneScape link, but it was actually like like a hyperlinked piece of text, basically. If that makes. I think that's what you're trying to say, at least. But
yeah, that's where that's where the communication kind of breaks down in the post. Is exactly there. Was this a hyperlink that was masked, or was this a PM that was read out? And if it was that would make sense if it was a PM. I mean, if it wasn't a PM and it was does he say it was a PM or not though? This player, he says he was at the GE, right? Says you will give me 5 mil. Yeah, there's just not enough information to really discern, because again, this person.
Yeah, because it's like, I'll give you 5 mil if you visit my clan's forum. So like, how did he tell you about like how to get to the clan forum? Like, yeah, I think he followed the link somewhere. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that later he's like, I used Authenticator to get in. Like, dude, you ain't using Authenticator unless you're at the wrong website, because the forums don't have Authenticator.
That's the big red flag right there, and that's kind of the takeaway from this episode. This little cautionary tale is, if you open up the forums and it asks you for your authenticator, you're on a phishing website. Get the hell out of there. What the hell are you doing?
Yep.
All right, so there you go. That's, I think, our last topic of the day. Anything anyone wants to get out before I run through the end cap?
If you enjoyed my research on the RunePass stuff, you can show me some love by following my Twitch at Queen of Blaze. I'm basically streaming every day right now. So yeah, stop by. I'm gonna be ending the stream after the show's over, but I will be back live again tonight to do some more shit. So come hang out and watch me do quests and get maxed.
Hell yeah. I'll probably be there, at least in chat. Anyone else want to plug anything, or are we good?
Nah, go to sleep.
All right. In the meantime, then, again, thank you everyone who came out for this episode of RuneScape Weekly. In the meantime, you can find us on social media. We got a Facebook page for you, facebook.com/RSWeekly. Yeah, that's like the only thing we don't own. There needs to be like a .social so I can RuneScape.social. No, so Facebook.com/RSWeekly. We're on Twitter as well, at RSWeekly. You can find us on RuneClan at RuneScape.club for our RuneClan rankings. That's the RuneClan is Kill, Skill, and Chill. RuneScape.expert for my rankings, if you want to check out my RuneClan rankings. Thank you very much for the 200 bits, Ryan7. Really appreciate that. I finally caught you live. Awesome. You caught the tail end of it, but you nonetheless did catch us technically live. RuneScape.video if you want to check out our YouTube archives. RuneScape.chat if you want to head over to our Discord channel. And you want to check out the podcast archives, that is RuneScape.today. If you want to help us out and support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/RuneScape. You can get the pre-shows and a bunch of other content that we've done over the years over there as well by pledging on our Patreon at patreon.com/RuneScape. Big special thanks to our top Patreon supporters, including David, Ephicxstix, Sudwood, Ricky A, Cody T, and Naura. Thank you so much for your ongoing patronage, not just to our top Patreon supporters, but all of our patrons and all of our live viewers and all of our listeners, podcasts, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Thank you so much for supporting the show with your ears, your eyes, your wallets, whatever, your word of mouth. Thank you very much for making RuneScape Weekly what it is. And we will be back to do it again next week. So thank you, and as always, happy scaping.